SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Live from Las Vegas, the Snake Sports Talk Show with Jake Silva starts right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here on Sports Empire Network. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. Hello, everybody. Jake the Snake Silva here from the Snake Sports Talk Show, coming at you live with play-by-play commentary and reactions of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. If it is your first time showing up here, we welcome you and we appreciate you guys making us a part of your night as we get ready and prepped up for Game 3 to start up here between the Panthers and the Golden Knights. Really appreciate all of you guys. If you haven't done so already, like, follow, subscribe, and hit the bell button for all latest notifications on all media platforms known to man. We are live on every single one of them. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your night. So the series now has gotten to 2-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights. And of course, right now, the Florida Panthers find themselves in a position to where they're here in Florida, back home, on an 0-2 deficit. And the Golden Knights right now have not kept their foot off the gas now for basically the entirety of the series. This series has gone on so much that it's been exciting to watch, to say the least. But at the end of the day, it's been all Vegas. And the one big thing that's been the takeaway is that the Golden Knights have been aggressive on offense, and they have really been on fire now for the last 2 games. But the big importance, though, is that the Golden Knights have been they've been under control. They have literally controlled their destiny. They've stayed calm. They kept their composure down, and that's what's been kind of the biggest focal point against the Florida Panthers. And right now, the Panthers are kind of sitting in this deficit where they really need to get back to the basics. Right now, things have not looked great, and things have started to really struggle on each's end. So right now, the Panthers, with their backs against the wall, are looking to try to, at the very least, get a win at home and make this an interesting series down the stretch. Right now, the Golden Knights, obviously in a 2-0 lead in this series, but the biggest thing that the Florida Panthers really have to do, and we're kind of breaking down both these teams before puck drop here, but the Panthers, there's a few things that they really need to get control of. The biggest thing is that they need to start controlling their composure. They are already 160 penalty minutes right now in this series, which is absolutely ridiculous. And Panther fans are concerned. They need an explanation. They need to be able to figure out what is going on with this team, because right now they don't look like they play like themselves. Too much is really just kind of flying around in the air. They don't seem to play like themselves, and really, it just has not looked good for the Panthers moving forward. And the offense has not looked consistent. There's been too many opportunities that they've been trying to take advantage of, and they have not been able to capitalize on either of them, which has been a big problem. But hopefully being comfortable at home here in Florida might change things. But all it has to do is it has to give them time to really correct themselves and hopefully make it interesting throughout the entirety of this series. Right now, the Golden Knights look like the better team. They're not shook in any other way. And they have controlled their destiny all throughout this series, which is what the Panthers need to do. They need to just learn to control themselves, slow things down a bit, and get consistent with their passing. They need to get consistent in several areas, and that, I think, is what needs to be the expectation. I also do think it has to be the opportunity for them to really take the game by storm. I think there's a chance that they could do it, but it has to come from Matthew Tkachuk. Needs to play better. He needs to not, become a liability when it comes to these penalty minutes, and that is what has been the big problem. But hopefully, head coach Paul Maurice had spoken about that, and there's hopefully going to be several changes that's going to be happening in this series. So we're excited for it. Game 3 is going to be something really, really interesting. The Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers here in Florida. We can't wait for it to get started soon. We appreciate all of you guys dropping in and showing up and hanging out with all of us here on Sports Empire Networks, presented by Geek. And just in about a few minutes, we will start up on Game 3 of the Stanley Cup final between the Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. So you don't want to end up missing that. Stay tuned. We will be back here in just a moment.
I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
Welcome back here, folks, as we are on the pre-game show of the 2023 Stanley Cup Final Game 3 between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Appreciate everybody for being here with us tonight. So kind of breaking down a few things here for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. And as we just before we start up with Game 3 in Florida, down in South Beach, just a recap so far of the series. So, of course, Game 1 was June 3rd. Vegas Golden Knights took the first step, winning the game 5-2 against the Florida Panthers. And the biggest thing that was the huge argument was Matthew Tkachuk, who had the misconduct play, had him ejected at the least the final 5 minutes of the third period. And then here the Golden Knights win again 7-2. So the Golden Knights already combined have scored 12 goals against their opponent, and the Florida Panthers only have scored 4 total in this final series. And it's just been kind of just a slow thing for the Florida Panthers. They've been dominated twice now in Vegas. So the only narrative in Florida is that can the Panthers really, rebound and be the better team tonight here in Game 3? Well, that'll be left to be said, of course, too. But I think the biggest thing is that Matthew Tkachuk needs to get back to himself that he has been all throughout the series. This has just been kind of an embarrassing start for the Panthers, but they've been kind of hit into a wall. The Golden Knights have been very energetic. They have also been hyper-aggressive up on offense. Defense has not slowed down, and Adin Hill just continues to be a story for the Golden Knights moving forward. So lots of things that could possibly happen here in Game 3. But so far, so good. Things have been looking really, really good as far as practices go for both these teams. Golden Knights looking to try to take a commanding 3-0 lead and move themselves one game away from becoming Stanley Cup champions amongst the hockey world. And the Florida Panthers are hoping that maybe they'll make this series interesting and at least take Game 3 tonight. So many different narratives that are happening left and right for those reasons, but we're so glad all of you guys can come here tonight and join us. But this has just been kind of one of these interesting series right now so far. But Paul Maurice and company have really been trying to get their team back on track. And the last 2 games have just not really looked like themselves for the Florida Panthers. There's just been too many inconsistencies, and it has to start from the top down. A lot of their biggest assets like Alexander Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, and several others really have to step themselves up if they want to survive and make this an interesting series. Panthers are good. Sergei Bobrovsky was an off night. They got to at least have him prepared and ready, because after being taken out with 4 goals past, it was just kind of like they threw in the white towel. And so the Panthers really have to adjust in several areas. They really have to find their confidence again that they found against the Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Those are probably the biggest takeaways that you can give for the Panthers. Another reason of it is that they just haven't been able to find open opportunities. So they've got to force themselves to create one. And I think that's what's going to be the big difference maker as well. If they could get themselves in position to where they can create opportunities rather than just relying on just the next person down, even though it's a next man up mentality, but it has to start from the top down. It can't end up going any other way than that. And the Panthers know that their backs are against the wall. They know that they're going to be pressurized. They know that this is probably going to be one of their biggest performances tonight, if in fact we do see that. But for as much as we see, the Panthers, the Golden Knights have been doing everything in their power and successfully throughout this entirety of the series. Adin Hill has been such a great story for them and continuing to be unstoppable already with a 9-3 record, 2.06 goals against average with a save percentage at .937, and has been on fire all throughout this postseason and only giving up 4 goals in this series itself and leading to nothing. But he's never, he has not stopped himself short. He has continued to make adjustments, and he's continued to be the strong goaltender that he needs to be to keep this team consistent and keep their hopes up. So it has been continuously aggressive offense, strong defenses as well, and this is what has really worked out well for the Golden Knights moving forward. So you can only imagine how this team really has been finding their focus. They've been finding their consistency, and the Golden Knights, they're ready to be taking Game 3 by storm. But unless the Florida Panthers, they've got an answer for it. But this is where they've got to be more disciplined to be, in this 2-0 hole that they have. They got to slow down a lot of these star guys right now. We just found out at least the update on the Conn Smythe odds, and Jonathan Marchessault right now leads the entirety of the Conn Smythe odds to winning the trophy, and he's been on fire. He has already scored 12 goals in this postseason, and he has continued to put the team on his back and has continued to be a threatening force to opponents, especially when it's you need a goal, you need to get something going and getting it started, and this is exactly what the Golden Knights have been looking for and what they've been asking for now for quite some time. So there's all sorts of, possibilities and expectations right now floating around, but I do believe this is going to be one of those interesting games tonight, especially with it being on the road in Game 3. No particulars at all with as far as what the team needs to do better. I mean, they do everything better. So it has in fact been a great series for the Golden Knights moving forward. Bruce Cassidy definitely spoke on just the team's confidence, how well that they have been passing, which has been the biggest thing, was getting the passing consistent. But I think the other thing too is for the Golden Knights to take away from this game is that they've got to find they've just got to find their control. They got to be able to keep their possessions on their side. We know that they've been generating great passes. They've been generating great looks. But the only problem that they haven't been able to do is at least keep the puck up on their side. There has been giveaways and there has been, takeaways in the middle of the process. But some of these guys haven't been able to retain control of the puck. But they found ways to fix that mess, and they found ways to take advantage of it, which is get aggressive on offense, stop the puck on the offensive sides, and be able to regain and take away the puck from the opponents and keep possession on your side, and then giving your support to your goaltender on defense. And I think that is what they've really been doing well. They've been continuously building upon that momentum in order for them to get to this point now. So still awaiting for game time here on the Sports Empire Network, and waiting to get a feed soon, and now we have officially got it. So we'll be ready now for Game 3. So Game 3 coming up around the corner, and we will see you guys here in just a moment for Puck Drop here on Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek.
Nate Goyard. Bitch, I'm a ball, bitch, I'm a ball. Don't get no fuck, don't get no fuck. What's in my cup? What's in my cup? Full of that punch, look at that punch. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, ain't talking Milwaukee. Tell my dog sick of me, ain't do no barking. Pass me some greens, you know I'ma spark it. Mama got ass, told her to arch it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live now for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final presented by SeatGeek here on the Sports Empire Network. When you save $20 off using promo code SCN, $20 off of your next purchase of your next ticket, especially here in the big game. Don't miss your seat with SeatGeek. So puck possession right now for the Vegas Golden Knights as they dump it off into the Florida zone. And now here's Anton Forsling. So the Panthers have had trouble with composure issues, and they're hoping to change that narrative tonight as they are safely home in Game 3. And here's Stevenson getting around by Aaron Ekblad, and almost a big hit there by Brett Howden coming in quick. Now here is Forsling running down center ice and making a shot, and that one is blocked away by Aiden Hill. And shoved up and away. There's Sam Bennett right there with Shea Theodore and Mark Stone, and now Bennett will go and retrieve the puck, trying to keep it on the offensive zone. And Vegas having possession. And now the puck will go all the way across center ice. And we're trying to get the feed back here in just a moment. Hold on, we'll get the feedback here, guys. I love it when they do this. All right, let's see. All right, back with it now. 18 minutes left to go into the first period of play. Vegas with possession and trying to get it right towards center ice. As the puck goes right up and across. Oh, yeah, man, there's plenty of bets up on there. Thank you for joining us, Rio. And puck deflects up, and there will be a face-off. Radko Gudas, who's back after taking that big hit in Game 2 last time in Vegas and was shook up pretty badly, didn't return to the game until tonight. But, man, that big hit that he had earlier, man, he was just lit. Oh, you bet on 10 players? Oh, damn. Yeah, you definitely got a lucky night tonight, at least with 10 players total in the game. Yeah, this one's, for whatever reason, seems to be buffering out pretty badly. But yep, Radko Gudas with 3 assists, 81 hits, and 30 blocks, and he's only been playing in 17 minutes of this series thus far. Face-off here in center ice, and they got to try again. So 17:51 left to go here into the first period of play. Florida already with a shot on goal. They've already got their opportunity. Michael Amadio crossed up there by Lomberg. And now the puck goes all the way to the Florida zone. Carlson trying to put on some pressure. Riley Smith, there's an opportunity for Amadio, but couldn't get control of that puck. And now coming around with Carlson, trying to get control. Now here goes Alec Martinez. And the Panthers will push this one out, and this will be icing on the Panthers. Anton Lundell would push that out there for the Panthers, but they have been finding ways, and a good start there for the Panthers. Lomberg really making his time worth it, had at least a couple of pressurizing scenarios to put the pressure on the opponent, and also, too, blocking the opportunities and swiping away offensive spots for the Golden Knights. And a shot by Shea Theodore. That one was blocked up right up in front, and it's Lomberg again who is really showing up defensively. So now here come the Panthers as they take the puck all the way to the Vegas zone. Eichel now with possession. And this one will circle around to Bobrovsky as he retrieves it. And so Jonathan Marchessault, as we saw earlier, the Conn Smythe Trophy Award, as the odds have heightened for him. 10 goals in the last 9 games. And there's the icing there. So Marchessault's odds have climbed up as he is ahead of everybody on the Conn Smythe to this point in his credit of his career. But Marchessault was definitely a part of that deal in the expansion draft, where his last team he played was the Florida Panthers, along with his teammate Riley Smith in that expansion draft back in 2017. And ever since then, it has really worked out in Vegas's favor since the expansion draft. Nick Waugh with possession. Comes around Keegan Colasar. Up and across now for Zach Whitecloud. Tried to go for a one-timer and couldn't do it. And then here's the shot from Brandon Montour. And now Florida's up on the board. 15:45 left to go, so Florida, Brandon Montour ends up scoring the goal for the Panthers. And Panthers now get a start, and that's exactly the way they wanted to start this game here tonight. So 1-0 Florida here in South Beach, and the way you want to start the hockey game for the Panthers. Brandon Montour, who was responsible for that goal earlier as we finally got the feed fast enough. Now this one, here's Connor Verhaeghe. And a pass and a shot, and that one is blocked away as Duclair was trying to go for another shot right up top, but Aiden Hill was able to block it successfully. Verhaeghe, here's Anton Forsling, and his shot is blocked away by Theodore. And now a little shoving it there with Ivan Barbashev. And puck's circling around. Marchessault tried to get possession, and now the puck will be dumped off into center ice. Golden Knights with possession. 14:33 left to go here into the period. Ekblad right to Cousins, and now here comes Matthew Tkachuk. Rolling this down 3-on-2 possibly, and that pass is broken up. And a good job defensively by the Golden Knights. And the puck is broken there as that looked like Carrier with a broken stick. And coming in, there's Zach Whitecloud trying to get the puck out. And now Tkachuk is hit. And what a big hit, as that looked like it was Mark Stone on the hit. And now Vegas, now there is a penalty that's going to be coming up. And a big-time hit as that one shook up Matthew Tkachuk big time. So a big hit, that was Keegan Colasar to his credit. So a power play now heading in. Florida up on top 1-0. And we'll take a short break here. Oh, I'm definitely a fan of Vegas, that's for sure. As you could tell, I got all my Vegas Golden Knights gear up on here, Rio. So we'll take a break. 1-0 Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, presented by SeatGeek.
Live from Las Vegas, the Snake Sports Talk Show with Jake Silva starts right now.
Well, Matthew Tkachuk definitely shook up on the last play by Keegan Colasar, but here was that shot from Anthony Duclair earlier that just missed the point, and Aiden Hill able to stay strong up top. And so Panthers are 0 for 7 on the power play, and now Florida's got it as it was a high sticking penalty on Sam Bennett, and that was on Will Carrier. 13:59 left to go on the start of this power play. Nick Waugh winning the faceoff draw, and now Vegas will circle that around, but it's up to the corner. And now Brandon Montour with possession. Yeah, I'd love to see a great series on this one too, Rio. I think it'll be a great series if Florida wins tonight, because then it's something interesting. So Barkov getting this around over to Matthew Tkachuk. And the captain Barkov up and across. Montour, Sam Bennett, back to Montour. Has a one-timer, and that one is away on the right side. And now Barkov keeping this offense alive. 1:20 left to go on the power play. Now Barkov circling around. Right to Brandon Montour. Back to Barkov. Trying to get a shot, and that one broken up. And what a job by the Vegas defense with a man down and breaking up the play. And they coughed the puck out, but Sam Bennett goes to retrieve it. And this one all around the boards. Barkov right up across to Tkachuk, and that one bounces over. And now Waugh ends up kicking it away with 45 seconds left to go. And Florida will have to try again with a shortened amount of seconds. So Panthers now coming around. Connor Verhaeghe. A pass up and around the boards. Aiden Hill trying to chuck it away. 30 seconds left. And that pass broken up as that was Montour trying to look for Verhaeghe on the play and couldn't do it. And now the puck will go out of play. With 19 seconds left to go, but Paul Maurice spoke about it earlier, about trying to control this team's composure, but Matthew Tkachuk, he's once again headed into the locker room, but something didn't seem right. He was kind of shook up on that play from Keegan Colasar on that big hit, and so we're not entirely sure what may have happened all through there, but we'll see what happens if he returns. Time winding down on this power play. 10 seconds left to go. Anton Forsling with possession, trying to get the Panthers down on the offensive zone. Here comes Connor Verhaeghe. Seconds winding down, and now Vegas will be back to full strength and a successful penalty kill for the Vegas Golden Knights. And Lundell, that one was taken away. And now Vegas clearing it up and into the zone. Stevenson up and around, and that one couldn't connect. And now Florida back with possession, coming back onto the offense near center ice. Goes into the Vegas zone. Possession, keeping it alive. Now here's Colin White trying to get a tapper in there, but Aiden Hill rejects it and denies. So now here's Montour again. Skating down the ice, getting it around on the corner. And now this one will be deflected and out of play. So good job by Shea Theodore to, at the very least, throw the stick out and get it up out. But some good looks, at least, for the Florida Panthers early on. Some good looks early on. And the team trying to, at the very least, get themselves into a position to where they can take Game 3 tonight and at least get them on the winning column at a 2-1 series lead for the Golden Knights. And so Montour looked pretty pissed off there up on the play, and Paul Maurice, as we said, talked about it, where they need to keep their composure together. This team's been feeling too tight, and the penalty minutes just have not been helping. 160 penalty minutes altogether, and that's where they need to keep their cool because you're in the biggest setting in the NHL in the Stanley Cup final. Lots of teams would love to be in this position of where they are. Mark Stahl with a shot, and that one is away. And now Duclair with possession as he was roughed up there. Eichel tried to get control, and now this one, a wraparound, is not successful. Connor Verhaeghe getting this up and around. Now the puck getting loose. And not a whole lot of control from both these teams with the puck. But Vegas has been successful on those passes. Montour with that goal with Tkachuk and Stahl responsible for those assists. Getting Florida up and on the board tonight here 1-0. Now Martinez with possession. Barkov races to retrieve it. Meeting him there is Eichel. And now here we go into the Vegas zone. Marchessault dumps it off. Gets it up into the corner to try to set up here offensively. But instead, it's taken away. So 10 minutes close to play here into the first period of play. And Florida already striking first. Lomberg losing possession, and now puck is squeezed out, and here it goes past center ice and into the Florida zone. Nick Waugh trying to get possession. And Anton Lundell going into the Vegas zone, gets it around the boards. Off toward Colasar, where he's met by Mark Stahl. Now Radko Gudas coming around. And there is a whistle, and it'll probably be offsides on the Panthers. And now Mark Stahl getting into it again. So more and more physical play by the Florida Panthers. Taking another small break from here, Zach Whitecloud almost with the one-timer, but Brandon Montour got the party started in Florida. 1-0 Panthers lead over the Vegas Golden Knights.
Particularly skating well is Brandon Montour, and their defense are getting shots. What can you do to eliminate that?
Well, that's it, right? Where they're getting easy breakouts because it's not getting out. They're not turning face to the glass and having to go through some physicality. So once we get that squared away, that should eliminate the D-leads around.
Thanks, pal.
Right, thanks, man.
So Bruce Cassidy, of course, talking about the adjustments Vegas needed to do as far as open shots that Florida's been finding. 4 shots on goal over 1. Panthers lead here. Now Golden Knights with possession, and it's an offsides. Time will stop. So Eric Stahl, 38-year-old. This has been his 3rd trip to the Stanley Cup final already in his career, and a long time longtime player here in this league and has just been long awaiting his opportunity to hoisting the Stanley Cup, of course.
Eric Stahl scored the opening goal of this series, shorthanded.
Eric Stahl had scored the first goal of this series, shorthanded, that gave Florida that 1-0 lead before the Golden Knights unleashed their offense. And a little slip there up on the ice. And now Lundell, met up by Stevenson, he dumps it up into the Vegas zone. Martinez there. And now a shot. Oh, and a rejected play by Aiden Hill. And what a job for a save there. And much needed for the Golden Knights. That was a close one. And Martinez getting that around, but it was right up on that pass. And a good heads-up play by Aiden Hill. Now Pietrangelo coming up and around. And Martinez. And puck deflected into the Florida zone. And Florida with possession and making changes on the line. Arkov's speeding through here on the right side, trying to find a pass, and he's met up by Nick Hague. Now here's Duclair, right with Whitecloud. Over here towards Verhaeghe, and now Duclair back again, right up to Montour. Here's a one-timer. That one is rejected off right in front of traffic and couldn't get it through. Verhaeghe, Hague, Whitecloud along with Barkov there. And now Eichel squeezing this one out. And now Vegas. And there might be a penalty. And, of course, it is going to come. So the Golden Knights are going to be up on the power play after a tripping call. And that occurred right to Ivan Barbashev. So you could see where this puck is going. And you could see the defense. Both Alec Martinez and Alex Pietrangelo seeing right behind him. Where is the possibility they could start the offense? So Martinez met there, but it looked like that pass right here just goes right off the post. And super, super close, but Mark Stahl right there caused on the tripping call on Barbashev. So he will head into the box on a 2-minute power play for Vegas. And a chance to tie this baby up here into the first period of 7:46 left to go. Possession for the Golden Knights after Florida had won the faceoff draw. Here's Theodore. And now Jonathan Marchessault skating around, trying to get an opportunity to charge on offense. Here is Eichel, right to Marchessault. Stone and Theodore back to Stone. Right across now for Marchessault, trying to get a pass, and he couldn't get it. Good defense by Florida. Now again, the stick handled by Anton Forsling. Tried to get it away and couldn't, and now it's finally clear. About 7 minutes left to go into the period with 1:10 left to go on this Vegas power play. Now here we go. Vegas trying to get possession and try to tie this up. Now puck squeezes out and retains possession. Marchessault up and around along with Carlson there. And Ratko Gudas will clear this out. So Pietrangelo retrieving the puck and trying one more time. So the Golden Knights with a man up. 45 seconds left to go onto this power play. Still nothing has occurred yet. And Pietrangelo right up onto neutral ice. Reinhart got the stick on it, and now it is cleared, and 30 seconds left here on the power play. And Lundell tried to push pressure on the offensive zone. And now puck goes all the way up onto the boards. Nick Wall with possession right to Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo again, one-timer, tried to feed it in and couldn't get it. And that puck goes out of play. 5:56 left to go with 10 seconds left.
Ever dream of winning it all? Now you can with NHL Bingo. Grab your bingo card for every Stanley Cup final game. Because every pass, every save, and every goal is your chance to win prizes. Play today on the NHL app or at NHL.com/bingo.
Boy, almost had it. That one went right up, bar down, and couldn't get it as it went right up the top of the bar. And Bobrovsky got lucky on it. And a similar thing where Aiden Hill was very lucky it ended up coming off the post. And a face-off draw won by Vegas. They got seconds left to go onto this power play with Eichel with possession. Yep, we lost the feed again, guys. All right, let me see if I can get this back. They always do this to me. It's not right. So back to full strength now between Vegas and Florida. And the puck goes out of play.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NHL. During the Stanley Cup Final, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app, use promo code Geek.
So 5:33 left to go here into the first period of play. Almost close to ending things here. But a lot of great stuff. Florida still leading 1-0 here on Sports Empire Network of the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, presented by SeatGeek.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders, now we ain't out here moving rocks, we
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code snakesportstalkshow, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code snakesportstalkshow, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
5:33 left to go into the first period of play. Brandon Montour, of course, on his timeline before Game 1. Wife went into labor and flight from Vegas to Florida as quick as he possibly could. And to see his newborn back home up in Florida, and what a big way for Brandon Montour to make things exciting here into the series. And, of course, he was responsible for the first goal of the game for the Florida Panthers here. And congratulations to the Montour family on their newborn. 10 points already in this postseason for Montour. That's the franchise record most points by a defender. And puck possession here for Vegas as they're taking their time trying to get something going here offensively. Been a little bit of a slow start. Now, there'll be a penalty coming up, and yep, whistle blows. And it's going to be a cross-check. So cross-check, and it's probably going to end up going both ways. Rekko Gudis with the cross-check, and Will Carrier with the roughing penalty. So we might see a 4-on-4. So 4-on-4. So it's actually a boarding call, and yep, head went down up on the board, and then right about there, there was the cross-check right there onto Carrier, so both of them kind of offset the odds there. So Gudas, we know, has been roughed up here in this series. But pretty interesting how that ended up escalating in that play. But, of course, the physicality has not stopped for both these teams. And now face-off won by Vegas, and now 4-on-4 for 2 minutes for both these teams. They're both about a man down, but that won't matter as they go into a 4-on-4. So Vegas now trying to keep their possession alive and skating all around the ice, but are just losing their balance. Now Vegas will get on the offensive zone, and now a penalty. And so now it's going to be 4-on-3 as it's a tripping on Anthony Duclair. They caught him in the act. And we saw a bit of that as soon as possession was playing through, and they caught the delay penalty, and now Florida will be another man down. So 4-on-3 coming up. So it was a tripping call on Anthony Duclair. Yeah, that was just an easy call right there as he got Zach Whitecloud right up on the legs. So 4:20 left to go into the period with a Vegas 4-on-3 with 1:07. So a bigger chance for Vegas to try to get themselves to tie it and get them on the board. So here we go on a 4-on-3. Golden Knights with an extra man, taking their time in possession. Opportunity for Vegas, couldn't find it. As it's Eichel and Marchessault and Theodore out there, along with Captain Mark Stone. Theodore setting up front. Marchessault, and a score! And a power play goal is successful for the Golden Knights, and they tie things up 1-1. And it was right off the face-off as well, and a beautiful possession by the Golden Knights, and one that the Florida Panthers wish they'd take back. But this one was a soft, easy draw win, as Theodore getting it right to Marchessault, but it was Mark Stone with the deflection, getting it right past Sergei Bobrovsky, and it was very smart, right between the wickets. And Vegas ties things up here in the period. Another bad penalty for the Florida Panthers, and it just comes back to haunt them again. So Radko Gudas, of course, who picked up the cross-check, but then it was Anthony Duclair on the tripping, and Florida paid the price. So 4-on-4 remains. 1 minute left to go on this 4-on-4. Mark Stahl with possession around for Brandon Montour. Can't get possession of the puck as we're here on center ice. So the captain of the Golden Knights ties things up with 3:25 left to go. Second goal and an assist in this series itself. Here's a pass. Keeps it on the offensive zone. 30 seconds winding down. And now a good poke check by Barkov. And here we go. And that one is denied away. Wow, it was close. Alexander Barkov tried to go one-timer at least on the wrist check, but unsuccessful. So Carlson with possession, now moved on by Eichel. Eichel losing his skate. 5 seconds left on the 4-on-4, and this looks to be about done, and now both teams will be fully strong here on this first period. But once again, guys are just falling all over the ice, and time is stopped at 2:35. Boy, Alexander Barkov was really, really close to, at the very least, getting Florida back up on top. But it was this poke check right past Pietrangelo, but right there, a little bit of a shove. but had control and tried to pass that one through, but it just actually tipped up right on the stick and couldn't get it across. But it was a beautiful opportunity for Florida to try to get the lead back. Good job by Captain Alexander Barkov. And Vegas with possession all the way to the Florida zone. Radko Gudas gets it up on the corner and now bounced away. And speeding through into the Vegas zone. And Eric Stahl, that puck was denied. He tried to get at least a pass across and couldn't get it close enough near Aiden Hill. Here's Vorov. Now a shot, and that one is gloved up by Aiden Hill. So Matthew Tkachuk, here we go again on that one. He was lit up by Keegan Colasar earlier and was just kind of shook up at the end of it. And Tkachuk had to go back into the locker room, only this time no misconduct, but it was more of just a hit. But he hasn't returned since, so still feeling it on the injury. And we'll get more news on that later on to see what the status will be for Tkachuk in the rest of this game. And now Lundell, met by Carlson up on the side. And now that puck bounces away. Try to get it. Lombard almost had that opportunity. And then Riley Smith on a crossed up. About a minute and 37 left to go. Puck goes all the way to the Vegas zone. Icing is waved as Theodore regains possession. Now here's a pass right up into center ice. And that one will be poke check as Florida keeps it on their offensive zone. And a shot that's away. Duclair up and around for Barkov. Duclair back with possession again. Now for Hagee. Out to the right side and can't get it. That one up and around on the side of the wall. Duclair tried to get a pass. That's broken up by Vegas. Forsling, that shot was far wide. And now Theodore dumps this. Minute left to go in the first period of play. Forsling with possession. He'll take it down and passes it. And the puck gets right up into the stands, and time is stopped.
Scan the QR code or go to NHL.com/bingo to get your own Stanley Cup Final bingo card. Follow the events of the game. Check your card for a chance to win.
All the Florida fans here excited. Be back in South Beach in Game 3. And like we said, it's the first time since 1996 that the Florida Panthers have been back in the Stanley Cup Final. Been a long time coming. And now a shot. That one denied and blocked away by Aiden Hill. Seconds winding down here on this period. And now icing is called. Eric Stahl circled around in just the possession. This was the face-off. Sam Bennett ended up winning this one, but that shot just hit almost right up on the shoulder length and tried to find that deflection opportunity with Sam Bennett, but couldn't get it. So Florida in the first 10 minutes, they had a really good start with that 1-0 lead, but then bad penalties that came in late. Now here's Pietrangelo, and that shot is knocked away by Bobrovsky. Off the foot and off the padding. 20 seconds left to go. Pietrangelo, Stone, and now trying to get that one on a wrist shot and dump it in, and it didn't go through. Now Florida with possession. 5 seconds left to go. Winding down. Bennett creeping on through, and now time has expired. And so that will end the first period of play for the Golden Knights and the Panthers. But almost had that opportunity, but right there up on the padding on the foot as Stevenson tried to get that to go through, and Brett Howden was there with them. But Brandon Montour got things started. with the first goal of the game, and Mark Stone followed up with a 1-1 tie as he ended up getting the deflection goal himself on the Vegas power play. So a 1-1 tie here in the first period as we go into the first intermission of play. You're watching the Stanley Cup play-by-play of Game 3 of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers here on Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code snakesportstalkshow, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
All right, folks. Welcome into the first intermission report here on Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek, with the Stanley Cup Final Game 3. 1-1 tie between both these teams, and once again, too, women's national team back up and again, as we'll get a chance to see them perform in the highest stage in the Women's FIFA World Cup. But what a game it has been thus far. And with just the amount of energy on both these teams, it has been so good so far. But the Florida Panthers got things started early on with Brandon Montour's goal, but then Captain Mark Stone ended up answering back for the Vegas Golden Knights, and a great job on both ends to really just show off their aggressive offensive play. Florida finally trying to see if they've got life left in them here after being down 2-0 in this series. So we'll go ahead and we'll break it down what we've seen so far up into this game. But still lots of physical play. That is still not stopped all throughout this series as both teams continuing to show just that. But early on, You saw the possessions, and you saw the hit, of course, Matthew Tkachuk, who got hit and lit up by Keegan Colasar early in the game. And we have yet to expect what the news is on Tkachuk's health after that hit. And he didn't look so good since then, so that's where he went back into the locker room, and hopefully we'll have news on that soon. But both these teams each had a power play. Vegas had 2 power play opportunities, and they were able to convert one of them, 1 for 2, and Florida 0 for 1 here on this. 6 penalty minutes for the Florida Panthers over the 4. So a real nice, decent start for the Florida Panthers with the penalty minutes, still leading at least the Golden Knights with 6-4. And blocked shots, Vegas had at least 11 of them over 3, but Florida has been victorious on the faceoff wins thus far, which has been very crucial to their credit. If they've been continuing to win faceoffs and keep the possessions on their sides, they will most definitely be, the biggest focal point and the game changers into this series. And then, of course, the takeaways. Florida had taken the puck away 5 times, and so their defensive specialties have really been coming alive here in this game. And even with the opportunity and unfortunately letting the goal through from Mark Stone on that deflection goal, as that was just a big momentum change there. Vegas staying strong into this series. And then the giveaways, Florida giving it away 8 times and 3 times for the Golden Knights, but the Golden Knights have hit more than the Florida Panthers 9-3. So a little more of the physical game from both these teams, but at least, the Florida Panthers have really slowed themselves down on the penalty minutes, which was very crucial in this game. But they've been trying to find ways to slow themselves down, regain their composure, and regain control. And the Panthers so far was actually a pretty terrific first period on both ends, with the fact that the Golden Knights, the only thing they needed to adjust is too many guys are slipping on the ice. There's really not a whole lot of control and a lot of traction in their skates, so that's where they really got to get control of that, and especially the possessions, because the Golden Knights, they're finding these opportunities, they're trying to create more offensive opportunities, but Florida looked completely different in the first period than they have been in the last 2 games. They're starting to slow themselves down. The defense is now starting to show their strengths on it to where they're getting at least, little bit of physical play, but they're starting to become smarter and precise, especially when it comes to shutting down opposing offenses, breaking up offensive passing abilities, and everything in between that the Golden Knights have been doing well thus far. So the Golden Knights, as I said, what's going on, David Burns? Shout out to you from Cedar Hill, Texas. Appreciate you making us a part of your night here on the Stanley Cup Final Game 3 between the Panthers and the Golden Knights. So it's been real good for the Florida Panthers to really show that life and at least decent amount of physical play, but the patience and the discipline is starting to show there. It is what Paul Maurice had talked about earlier. It's starting to really kind of happen only in the first period of play, but things are starting to kind of change around for the Panthers moving forward, and who knows what the next 2 periods will look like for this team. But this is a real good start, and like all teams in the NHL, good starts always follow with, do you keep that same consistency from start to finish? So Panthers will find out exactly what that will look like. +2 news on Matthew Tkachuk on his health after being hit hard by Keegan Colasar on that one-time check in the game and had not returned since. So hopefully some injury reports there on Tkachuk with his health. But the Panthers have been trying to stay strong on their own, and a bunch of guys really needed to step up from there. Brandon Montour, who was responsible for that goal himself, really had to try to bury that one-timer when he got the opportunity. But the Golden Knights know there's no quitting them, and so for Florida, they know that they can't quit too on any of their possessions. But so we're here in the first intermission, as we're almost close to the second period of play, as you're watching the play-by-play commentary, as we're on the intermission report here on the Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek.
Bitch, I'm a ball, bitch, I'm a ball. Don't get no thought, don't get no thought. What's in my cup? What's in my cup? Full of that punch, look at that punch. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, can't talk in Milwaukee. Tell my dog sick of me, ain't do no barking. Pass me some greens, you know I'ma spark it. Mama got ass, told her to arch it. Pull up at the spot, hop out and don't park it. Bino say, always keep one in the cartridge. With Joey up purpose, so we going toxic. Came from the swamp to visit the tropics. Check out the scenery. Tell little mama to the backwoods right by the lake. And I had some weed on me. Had to retire my cup, but it still doubled up. So pour out some lean for me. We took an edible, feeling incredible. Fed away into the sheets. Hustle and flow as you need. Easy to see.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
Some Major League Baseball action, of course, all season long, and you can catch it, of course, on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And the Subway Series back at it again on Tuesday between the New York Yankees and the New York Mets, and you can catch that as well on TBS. Yeah, I know. It's completely Bush League for the Panthers. Eastern Conference really hasn't been getting that strong, but this is kind of what's been their wake-up call for the Panthers. They came in against the Vegas Golden Knights thinking that they're going to play a lot of physical play, but Vegas doesn't really, knock themselves too easily on the ground. They know how to stand their ground. They know how to retaliate, and that's what's been the biggest difference maker throughout the start of this Stanley Cup final in the two games. But that's where Florida they need to readjust, and they don't need to start, getting all, high and mighty and really trying to, do something that, other teams may have done in the past. We know that, the last time the Golden Knights were in the Stanley Cup final against the Washington Capitals, they did the same exact thing. They brought a lot of physical play, but the difference was that they had capable shooters who knew they were going to score. Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Kuznetsov, and several others. And so they left a lot of it with, Tom Wilson to doing a lot of the physical play, even when they had, Ryan Reeves. But the biggest difference, at least for the Florida Panthers, is they don't have enough of the physical play. But the other thing is they've barely been getting the offense going. This is already now 5 goals that they've scored on top of 13 that the Golden Knights have already scored in this series. So that's the biggest difference maker. They haven't been able to get into double digits, and they haven't been able to show any kind of premier offense, especially with, the physical play going on for both these teams. So I think what they need to do is they need to stop pressing themselves, stop pushing, stop trying to revert back to, a style that may have worked for one team. It's not working, for this team at all. So they have to readjust. They have to, find other ways to really get under the team's skin. Clearly the physical play does not shake them as much all it does is piss them off. But that's what's the beauty behind going into intermission. Take time to, really kind of clear your head and readjust and refocus. Paul Maurice, I'm sure, has probably, addressed this, but also one of the, the things that the Florida Panthers really have to do better if they want to keep themselves within this game and even within this series as a whole. But as far as the other side, Bruce Cassidy mentioned a lot about, trying to get open looks, but at the same time, shutting down the looks that the opposing offenses have been trying to find. The Golden Knights know that they let one goal slip by so far in the first quarter or in the first period, and it happened. But fortunately for them, that didn't stop them. That didn't stop them from going and getting Mark Stone to get the deflection goal to tie the game in a power play, in the power play opportunity. So the Panthers know that they've got to control themselves and they got to control their composure. They can't really settle for any more mistaken or dumb, penalties, because more and more of it's just going to continuously be a team killer. So that's where the Panthers really have to find themselves. Golden Knights know that they, it's a decent start. Wasn't a great start for them. It was a lot of sloppy play, guys that really weren't staying on their feet on the ice. They've been slipping and tripping themselves all around, on the ice. So hopefully we'll see an adjustment from there. Vegas, I'm sure they'll get more of their composure back, but it has definitely been quite the challenge all throughout this. So pretty interesting stuff all the way through and through, but we'll see exactly how all that goes up. But real quick, an announcement from our folks here at SeatGeek.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
So almost starting up into the second period of play, Golden Knights and the Panthers both tied up at 1 apiece, as you're watching here on the Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek. The Stanley Cup final here in South Beach up in Florida, as the Panthers back in it again, and the first time back on home ice since 1996 in the Stanley Cup final. As, of course, the second period of play is commencing. But this is something where this is going to be a much bigger challenge as far as possession play and control for both these teams. Face-off, Vegas winning the draw in the second period underway. Vegas with 6 shots on goal over 5 for Florida. So Matthew Tkachuk, of course, left in the first period of play. Jonathan Marchessault extends his point streak to 8. That's a franchise playoff record. And so far, the Golden Knights are 9-0 when scoring on power plays. And now time is called, and there is a tripping call. And we'll see where the call is, and that's going to be on Will Carrier. So Colin White, who had tried to get the offense going here for Florida, but instead a tripping call as Colin White caught it, and Carrier heads to the box. So Florida on their second power play opportunity now here in this game. Bruce Cassidy trying to keep the whole team together. And Carrier in the box on that tripping penalty. Trangelo looking for a different stick, and he will get it indeed. So Florida now on the face-off draw, and Vegas wins the draw. And the puck will check all the way down to the Florida end. Panthers on a power play. So here comes Florida on their zone and heading towards center ice. Connor Verhaeghe coming around. Aiden Hill goes to get it around the boards. Duclair met up, and there's Sam Bennett with possession. Gets it over to the right side. Now here's Montour. Smith had just gotten a touch on the puck. And now trying to get the pass, but it just luckily stayed in the offensive zone. Almost took off as that one looked like a terrible pass for the offensive opportunity there and couldn't get possession at least strong enough. So here's Barkov, dumps it around. Puck in the Vegas zone with a couple Panthers trying to at the very least get their offense going. A minute left to go on the power play. So puck knocked down into the Florida zone. Here comes Captain Alexander Barkov. Now with Sam Bennett. He's met up and contested with two Knights there. That one is shot and blocked up. Brett Howden took that shot pretty hard, but still standing. 30 seconds, that one shot around and back into the Florida zone. Brett Howden with 2 shots, 3 hits, and 2 goals in game 2. Now Stevenson with a shot, and he couldn't get it through. Try to get that shorthanded, and Florida with 20 seconds left on this power play. Now Nick Cousins up and across the line. Eric Ekblad tried to get a shot, and that one denied away by Hill. Now Eric Stoll up and around, and now this one will be killed by the Golden Knights, and Carrier comes out of the penalty box in full strength going. And now there's Matthew Tkachuk as he does come back and feeling a little refreshed after that big hit from Keegan Colasar in the first period. So a good sign for Panther fans to see. Power play 0 for 2 as they've had no shots at all and no attempts on either of those power plays. That's something that Paul Maurice knows he needed to clean up big time. He's getting aggressive on power plays, but they haven't been able to do so very efficiently throughout this series. Now here's McNabb getting possession and going down towards center ice is Jack Eichel. This one passed across, and Bobrovsky, he's got a little contact up front as whistles are blown everywhere. So 16:51 to go, but Florida Panthers again just showing more of that physical play, but a good sign for Matthew Tkachuk to be coming back here into the game and into the second period with 16:51 left to go. But it looked like he was pretty shook up in the end of it, but he looks pretty ready to go for more here in the Stanley Cup Final. Tkachuk already with a couple goals to his credit in this series alone.
He doesn't get out there in the next couple of rotations here. I think that would be a clear message.
And a face-off here into the Florida zone. Panthers winning the draw. Brandon Montour shooting this one past center ice and into the Vegas zone. Aiden Hill will retrieve it and gets it to McNabb. That one deflected and out and goes right over toward Florida zone. Montour around. Mark Stoll. That one intercepted away by Barbashev and try to keep the offensive zone there. Barbashev gets it away. Verhaeghe goes to intercept. And Jack Eichel gets it around. Can't get possession. And the puck goes all the way around alongside for Aiden Hill. And gets it around the glass. Radko Gudas on his own zone. Eichel tips that one away. Now here come the Golden Knights with Riley Smith up at the helm. Getting control of it. Here's Nick Hague, and that one stopped up by Bobrovsky right in front of him. So a beautiful pass, but Sergei Bobrovsky was waiting right for it for Nick Hague to even go and attempt the shot. And Hague was denied by Bobrovsky right on the glove side.
Good aggressive
Just wasn't high enough there, but it was beautiful, aggressive goaltending there for Bobrovsky. And the Panthers now trying to stay strong defensively against this Golden Knights offense. Reinhart up on that draw. Vegas winning the draw. Now here's Amadio. Can't get control. Reinhart dumps this one into the Vegas zone. And met up by Nick Hague. Lundberg there. Now here's Riley Smith. Can't get control. Now Carlson tries to get a shot, and that one bodied up by Bobrovsky. So Bob playing a lot better than he did in the last game, where he let go of 4 goals before taking out in Game 2 in Vegas. And here comes Tkachuk as he comes back to the ice.
Panther fans notice their top guy has just entered the playing surface.
So the Panthers happy that their best guy throughout this postseason is back out and onto the ice again. Florida winning the draw and getting this to the offensive zone. Mark Stahl, that one whistle blown.
You want to make good, solid, hard contact against him immediately.
So Vegas, we know, had been tested with those physical play by Florida and mostly on Matthew Tkachuk, but they've found ways to try to answer back, and they're trying to find some again in this position. Once again, another face-off in the Florida zone as Stevenson there on the face-off, and he'll win it. And now here come the Golden Knights. Nick Hague gets it around for Brett Howden, but Ekblad definitely roughed him up there. Stevenson up and around, and he is tangled up. And now here's Stone up in front, and there's a penalty that's going to be eventually called, and now it will be, and that's going to be against the Florida Panthers, and that'll be on Aaron Ekblad. So the Golden Knights will be on a power play again for the 3rd time tonight. And it is a holding call, and we saw this right from here. It was a hold right on Stevenson as he tried to gain control, but instead had his arm locked up by Ekblad and couldn't do it. So Ekblad is responsible for that penalty. So we'll watch Vegas and see how they do up on this 3rd power play of the night. All right, got it again. Let's get this baby back. So here we go again now. Vegas on the power play, 1 minute and 15 left to go. Eichel up and across, and here's Marchessault in a shot, and that one's blocked away by Bobrovsky. The puck ended up deflecting out, and Bobrovsky literally got it out of that zone. 14 minutes to go. Here's a shot. That one, and a big save by Bobrovsky. As Mark Stone really tried to sink in a one-timer on the power play again and was denied. So Sergei Bobrovsky was right up in perfect position and saw Stone right from there and denies him of that goal. But that one again, Marchessault just didn't get a lot of airtime on that one. So it made it an easy stop for Bob there. And Vegas winning the draw. 50 seconds left to go on the power play, trying to get possession and get the lead here in the 2nd period. Now puck comes out of the zone. Here we go. Short-handed opportunity. That one knocked away. And so they try to shake things up. Here's Riley Smith up and around. Arbashev right to Smith and met up by Mark Stahl. Arbashev up to him. Trying to get it. And Carlson there. Here comes Pietrangelo. Carlson with a shot. That one up top and misses off wide right. And the power play may be over. Here's Smith off to Wall. And now back to full strength. And Pietrangelo tries to get that one but couldn't do it. He was waiting on that one-timer, and instead the possession didn't go his way. And so we're back to full strength and back to square one again. So here's Golden Knights up there in their offensive zone. And Anton Forsling going to grab it. And here's Tkachuk coming around. And now this one shot and blocked away. Nick Hague going to grab it. And puck goes all the way around up into the Vegas zone. Tried to knock it away, but couldn't get strength on that stick. That was Gudis. Looks like the stick ended up breaking there. And now Recto Gudis coming around. Now here's a good opportunity for Duclair shooting around. He was skating up and around trying to get that one-timer. Now whistle blows at 12 minutes. And we'll find out what that is. So Braden McNabb is going to the box. And Florida will be back on the power play again. A good opportunity for Anthony Duclair. And Vegas will be down a man short. Be back here in the studio in the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, Panthers and Golden Knights. So Braden McNabb, who heads up into the box on that penalty call on him, and now Florida with possession on their power play, and see exactly what they'll try to do as both teams looking to gain the lead for each's side. Panthers 0 for 2 already. So here we go, a shot, that one denied away, and that goes right to the corner, right back to Montour. Montour, who had the first goal and the only goal so far tonight. And Barkov tried to get it around to Tkachuk, couldn't do it. Now here's Sam Reinhart. That one broken up by Nick Hague. Bennett met up by Carlson, roughed up. Carlson ends up dumping it over into the Florida zone. And time winding down. So here's Montour again. Right back to Reinhart. Florida speeding up into the offensive zone. Stone trying to deny it. And instead, the offense keeps it alive. Back to Barkov and Sam Bennett. Right to Brandon Montour. Gets it around to Tkachuk. And Tkachuk right to Alexander Barkov. Right to Montour. Barkov trying to get a pass across, and Reinhart. That one denied. It was a good play by Tkachuk to try to find the opportunity, but just couldn't sink in against it. That one. Another one off of Aiden Hill, and that one gets denied away and all the way back to Sergei Bobrovsky and have to rejuvenate the offense again. Now Reinhart skating his way through, goes past center ice and dumps it in. 30 seconds left on the power play opportunity for Florida. Now Tkachuk right to Reinhart and Brandon Montour. Here's Verhaeghe, and the shot, that one up and away, and puck saved away by Aiden Hill and denied away. 10 seconds winding down. What a job by this Vegas Golden Knights defense. They deny the Panthers of that power play opportunity once again, and now 0 for 3 tonight. Anton Lundell out to Aaron Ekblad, and now Verhaeghe right there with Lundell, and Haig, who's roughed up, trying to get the puck now. Ekblad, a quick shot, and a shot for Reinhart. Couldn't get it. Boy, great rebounding opportunity for the Panthers. Still can't sink it in. And that one too hard and lost his skate. That was Forsling. Now Eichel, 9.5 left to play in the second period now. Archiso right to Haig, and will dump it into the offensive zone. 2 shots on that power play with 3 of those attempts and have come up empty on both of them. Now a shot, that one denied away by Aiden Hill. Barbashev with possession. He's there met with Alec Martinez and Nick Haig. And Colin White pushing it away. Now this one up to Jack Eichel, trying to speed his way around, and instead was crossed up there. Now Sam Reinhart with possession, getting Florida onto the offensive zone. That one dumped in. Florida had to make an initial change. And this one right back over to Florida's zone and back toward it center ice. Bennett, good skate around. And now Montour coming around in a shot. Tried to flick it and it was denied, but he gets possession again. Montour around. Right over toward Bennett. And that one passed over to Riley Smith. Good move from him. Florida gets it back, and a good job by Carlson. He's roughed up onto that side. Carlson with possession. Trying to get a shot right to McNabb, and that one was bodied up by Bobrovsky and denied away. And he tried to get that rebound shot, but it wasn't there. And that shot gloved up by Bobrovsky. Time stalls. Boy, what an energizing possession that was for the Golden Knights, as we are right there with 7 minutes and 42 seconds left to go. But that period certainly was very entertaining. Both teams, both staying strong, but Matthew Tkachuk, of course, roughed up by Pietrangelo. But that shot there, Aiden Hill, what a stop. And then this one here, that opportunity on that second chance shot, just denied, bodied up by Sergei Bobrovsky. So both goaltenders really playing their best tonight. Be back here on the Sports Empire showing of the play-by-play streaming Game 3, Panthers Golden Knights.
Nate Goyard.
Bitch, I'm a ball, bitch, I'm a ball. Don't get no fuck, don't get no ball. What's in my cup? What's in my cup? Full of that punch, look at that punch. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, ballin' like Kobe. Ho, keep it moving, cause you do not know me. Bitch, I'm a ball, can't talk in Milwaukee. Tell my dog sick of me, ain't do no barking. Pass me some greens, you know I'ma spark it. Mama got ass, told her to arch it. Pull up at the spot, hop out and don't park it. Bino say, always keep one in the cartridge. With Joey up purpose, so we going toxic. Came from the swamp to visit the tropics. Check out the scenery. Tell little mama to the backwoods right by the lake. And I had some weed on me. Had to retire my cup, but it still doubled up. So pour out some lean for me. We took an edible, feeling incredible. Fed away into the sheets. Hustle and flow as you need. Easy to
Back on the second period of play as Florida gets possession with 7:30 left to go. Colasar up and around the boards as he's met there with Will Carrier. Fourth line here for them. Now McNabb with a shot. That one denied away by Bobrovsky. Now Retko Gudas. Only goals here from Mark Stone and Brandon Montour here in the second period. One taken away. Here's now Shea Theodore. His shot right up top. And Howden almost had the opportunity, but what a save by Bobrovsky as he just got there in time to get that padding out there. Boy, what an opportunity for Brett Howden, and it couldn't sink in. But it was a beautiful opportunity on the second chance to get it through. Now puck possession staying up on center ice. And the Golden Knights now offsides. Boy, those were really good looks by the Golden Knights offense. And you saw again, Shea Theodore had the shot. Try to get control of it, but Bobrovsky does get his legs out there. He had a little trouble trying to glove it, and it goes away. But Howden almost had it in right on the arm of Bobrovsky. What a save there. That was an outstanding play by the longtime veteran. What's going on, Charles? And so second period chances, 8 of them for Vegas and 4 for Florida. 6:20 left to go. 16 shots over 10 for the Golden Knights. This one blocked away. Duclair, and now Barkov comes around. As the captain, he's spun around and met up by Nick Hague and White Cloud. Now Borsling up and around. Hague, met up by Barkov. Marchessault up to Forsling. A shot, that one denied away. Now here comes Vegas on a possible opportunity. And that one is whistled as a penalty does draw up, and Vegas will be on the power play again. It's going to be on the captain. Interference on Alexander Barkov, the captain. And right from there, yep, a shove up on White Cloud. So the captain gets nailed with a penalty. Vegas will be there with a man up here in just a moment.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
So there was a bunch of opportunities that both teams tried to take advantage of on those plays, but the Vegas Golden Knights are on the power play opportunity as they've gone right back again. So Vegas is 1 for 3 on the power plays this far in their fourth opportunity to try to give their team the lead with 5:30 left to go into the period. Barkov is in the box for interference on Zach Whitecloud earlier, but a lot of physical play, but it looked a lot cleaner for both teams in this period. Now Theodore with possession gets it over to the corner. He's met with Mark Stone. Stone right to Marchessault. Stone again. And losing a little of his skate, that was Jack Eichel, but he regains control. Eichel to Marchessault. Score! And it is Marchessault once again. And the Vegas Golden Knights score their second goal of the night. And he has extended the points. He's extended the goals once again, but Jack Eichel, a little slip, but finds Marchessault right across and sinks it in past Bobrovsky, giving the Golden Knights a 2-1 lead. Boy, there is just nothing quite like it with just this. Thanks, Charles. Hey, it ain't over until the lady sings. Remember that. So this has been such a fun series. We're not done yet. We're not done until those final minutes of the period are over in any game in any series, man. So confidence building up for the Golden Knights as they lead 2-1 in the second period. 16 shots on goal tonight. And all 3 games of the Stanley Cup final. This series, they're 6 for 18 on power plays and now 2 for 4 tonight. What's going on, Key? And so that's saved now on Aiden Hill by Alexander Barkov. So the captain had to pay the price on that interference call, and Marchessault responded very efficiently. Jonathan Marchessault is the third player in the last 35 years to score his first 3 games of the Stanley Cup final. And Steve Yzerman did that years ago in the 90s with the tough and heavy Detroit Red Wings team. And that Barkov penalty really did cost them. Man, you know, Arizona honestly just needs a whole lot of help, man. They need help with the stadium. They need help with the roster. They need help with literally everything. Hopefully you guys will get that, Charles. So here we go, and now that's stopped, and now a little bit of rough play between Colasar and Gudas, and nothing short of that. So the match commencing, of course, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. So Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, and also, too, the biggest news in the PGA Tour is they have merged with Live Golf, and hopefully to have all their stars in the biggest stage, which we always love to see, whether it's the Masters, the Open, and so much more. It's always good to see all of our favorite golfing stars out in the biggest stages. So a couple of golf stars here in South Florida, of course, who attended. And now Golden Knights winning the draw here with a 2-1 lead. Here comes Nick Cousins trying to pass it across, just misses behind him. And now Vegas with an opportunity, dumps this over, tries to get a good pass over to Stone, but Aaron Ekblad wants to deny this one. Now here's an opportunity, trying to move the puck across and couldn't get it. Just missed through for Bobrovsky, and he was quick to react. And now Martinez all the way over with Stevenson there. Now a pass all the way across. And that will be an icing as it didn't clear. So 2 hard and 2 over. Jack Eichel and Mark Stone responsible for the assist on Jonathan Marchessault's game-leading goal. So 2-1 with 3:37 left to go in the period. Hit the like button, guys. Smash the like button. Also follow all of our social medias here on Sports Empire Network and the Snake Sports Talk Show as well. And now a Vegas penalty this time. And that'll be on Alec Martinez. So another shove forward again. So we'll see this. So here it was on that opportunity, and yep, just crossed him up, and Lomberg saw that opportunity right against Alec Martinez, so they are down a man. And Martinez kind of looked like it was just a cross-up all the way from there, but the Florida Panthers end up retaliating and getting the power play. Already scoreless right now with the power play opportunities, and that hasn't looked good for the Panthers thus far. Here's an opportunity once again for him. Duclair right to Forsling, and now here is Barkov. Barkov down low, and Tkachuk, and stopped by Hill, and they're 0 for 10 on power play opportunities. That's not been the greatest case for the goal for the Florida Panthers and for Paul Maurice's group. And Aiden Hill once again staying strong. Barkov found Tkachuk and tried to get Sam Reinhart in there one-timer and couldn't get it. Hill was able to just stop that thing and body it up. So a good stop. 1:42 on the power play left to go. And so a little bit of the explanation there to Paul Maurice, and we'll see what's up from there. So maybe a little conversation, something they'd seen there. Face-off draw, and Vegas clears it all the way up into the opponent's zone. Brandon Montour goes to retrieve it. Gets this one back, and will charge through center ice. 1:25 here. And now this one taken away by the Golden Knights, and they dump it away into the enemy zone. Under 3 left to play. Tkachuk right up across for Sam Reinhart. 1:10 left to go in the power play. Aiden Hill getting it around with Pietrangelo there. Puck right up on off the glass. Now here's Montour. Gets a pass across. Trying to find Tkachuk, and he does. Back up the boards right to Barkov. Off to Brandon Montour. Gets the pass. Montour looking for a look. Can't find it. Time winding down. Montour circling around and trying to find a spot. Passes right back to Barkov. Still nothing, and now across, and that one is denied. As Sam Bennett tried to crash on in and couldn't do it. Now Montour again. Another time, and that one blocked away up front by Riley Smith. 20 seconds on the power play. Now Pietrangelo intercepts this one and goes across, tries to make a shot in 10 seconds, winding down. And it looks like we could be looking at another killed penalty for the Golden Knights. And what great defense they've had on their special team. Now this one stuck away. Stevenson one time, and it's stopped by Bobrovsky big time. As a poke check by Stevenson, and just great awareness by Bobrovsky, but right from there, Sam Bennett just lost the puck control, and he tried to bury it in, but Bobrovsky denies him on it. But good strength by Bob there, and keeping possession of it to stop play. Boy, now a face-off here into the Florida zone. Barbashev there. And that one won by Vegas. Gets possession. And Barbashev up and around. Here's McNabb up to Theodore. Draws it all the way back. McNabb across. And they dump it in. Now Ekblad up and around. Trying to find the possession up on it. Tries to stick it. Can't do it from there. Now another chance. And that one tucked away. Now it's still possession for the Golden Knights, and too hard of a pass, and they got to retrack it back. That was McNabb who tried to hold it down, and now a penalty that's going to be against the Panthers. And they will touch it, and play will stop at 37 seconds, and that's going to be a slashing call. And it might be on Anton Lundell. So once again, another penalty for the Panthers, and the Golden Knights going back on it again. So Anton Lundell with a slashing call on Barbashev. Yep, slashed that stick in half. And there it is. That was more obvious than anything. So the Golden Knights, once again, with another power play opportunity. Florida just hasn't been able to gain control on some of those penalties itself and finding themselves on a 2-1 deficit. But a smart job by Barbashev and letting that stick just break on its own. That one a shot, and that one blocked away as Stevenson tried to go for the one-time up the middle. Stays in the offensive zone, and now Stahl will kick it away. 2 for 4 tonight for the Golden Knights on power plays on 5 shots. 20 shots on goal total here in the game. Theodore crashing in through onto the enemy zone. Tries to get it, and instead, 10 seconds winding down. That'll be bounced around toward Hill. And that will end play here in the second period. Third and final period coming up soon. So the only goal that was scored on it, Jonathan Marchessault extends his points and goals already to now 13 goals total in the postseason. And the Golden Knights, who have continued to stay red hot. We're in the second intermission as we go close into the third and final period. Vegas leading once again 2-1 on the Marchessault goal here into the second period. We'll be back with more intermission play here on the Sports Empire Network, presented by StreamYard, or presented by SeatGeek. Well, folks, it has just been back and forth with both these teams already, but the Golden Knights finding ways to retaliate and keeping the lead on their side. Here on the second intermission report, power plays already this series. First game, 7 of them for the Golden Knights, burying 2 of them, and 2 for 4 in both 2 and 3, but absolutely just shutting themselves out of power play scoring opportunities. The Florida Panthers, I mean, that's just been kind of the terrible thought, though. But really good second period from both these teams. The fact that the Vegas Golden Knights continuing to not quit on a lot of opportunities, and what a job by Jonathan Marchessault really finding that possession. But really, the penalties have just been kind of killing the Florida Panthers all throughout it. But the only thing that's really been killing is their chances to really get aggressive offensively. This team has not really found a whole lot of their nucleus, not since their time against Boston and Toronto, and even against the Carolina Hurricanes. They're met up with the Vegas Golden Knights, and things are started to kind of slow it. But it was a decent period. They still had stayed strong, trying to find opportunities. But the power plays have really been the big difference for both these teams. Vegas had taken advantage of the power play twice. Mark Stone in the first period, and now Jonathan Marchessault in the second period. And the Golden Knights just continue to put their foot on the gas, leaving nothing short of just staying hot, staying consistent, and opening more offensive chances for them. But at this point now for the Florida Panthers, they really have to start coming up with something, at least adjust somewhere, whether it's got to be offensively, on the power play unit, or whatever it needs to be, because right now, this has just been not so good. And the thing of it is that it really just hasn't been like that great. But ultimately, it's just been kind of that narrative right now for the Florida Panthers. But ultimately, any and either way right now, the Golden Knights really have been staying that strong and looking at these opportunities. Shea Theodore knows that he sees something from there, and that's where Jonathan Marchessault getting the goal and getting that right up and across. A little bit of a beautiful stalling right from there, but same thing, trying to keep Sergei Bobrovsky guessing in a bunch of areas. But Panthers really have to start stepping up offensively. There was just too many passing and that was involved, and it's just been kind of the narrative right now for them. Yeah, the dogs are fighting. Yeah, the dogs are. It's so cute when they do that. Both my dogs. It's just like it is. It's like it's a little dog fight. But again, it doesn't seem like, the Panthers really got any dog in them. So, you just kind of see this for what it is. But this is the difference, though, between the Eastern and the Western Conference, is that the Eastern Conference of play, you've got your stars. You've got your stars everywhere. But the problem of it is that if you don't have aggressive play, it's different. Tampa Bay, the last few times that they won the Stanley Cup, was based upon their aggressive offense. It was based upon their speed. They were real good defensively as well, and leaning towards Andrei Vasilevsky as well, and staying strong behind net. But the other thing of it is, too, is you had a lot of other teams that were tough against them. The Carolina Hurricanes. We know they got shut out against the Panthers in that period, or in that round. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't truthfully come close to what the Golden Knights have been doing right, what they've been staying strong all throughout the narrative. And you have to think, both these teams and their paths to the Stanley Cup completely different. And the thing of it is that there's just so much that is involved that the Golden Knights know they have a better opportunity than what the Florida Panthers do. The Panthers right now they were not expecting how the Golden Knights really have been retaliating, fighting back, and finding more of those chances. And they haven't really been, forced down to the ground. They've been they've been keeping up in their grounds for this long, and it really has started to work for them in every single area. So There's just a lot that's been happening all in stored, and that's why, you just see this for what it is, and the Golden Knights are doing everything, all that they possibly can. It really has been working, into each his own. It's, it really has been, just the top priority right now for the Panthers to really start to get aggressive. They need to get back into this game. Who knows exactly if they still got any more, gas left in the tank. And the more the Golden Knights continue to push and shove and they continue to get into Florida's head, they're not the best. And they force up a lot of dumb penalties. And so once again, though, but in that position, that's where the Panthers really have to try to stand their ground. They have to breathe. They have to control themselves. But the way that things have been going, this was actually the first time that at least the Panthers have been showing decent amount of control. They have to get aggressive offensively. The special teams unit, especially in the power plays, needs to be better. They need to clean things up. They need to get better as far as their passing goes, and not to mention finding open looks. Brandon Montour and Captain Alexander Barkov, they've been passing this thing around, and it really has not been working at all into their favor with finding those open looks. They did try that with the opportunity with Sam Bennett crashing up into the net, but nothing sunk in, and that was where it just really kind of took a turn differently for them. So it is indeed becoming, that cat and dog fight right now with both these teams, but evidently the Golden Knights, they've been keeping up with their narrative. They've been keeping up with their story. Jonathan Marchessault extending the points and the goals, of course. First time in a long time that the NHL has seen a player score 3 consecutive goals in just the 3 games in the Stanley Cup final since Steve Yzerman in '97. And so we all know about the big year that the Detroit Red Wings have had with their units and, of course, all of their top-notch players as well. But, this has just been a heck of a year for Jonathan Marchessault, and he's making a very strong case to winning the Conn Smythe as well this year. But it's going to be tough. I mean, Adin Hill, he's been standing his ground. He's been terrific all throughout this series and only just giving up 5 goals total throughout this series. So, and then Jonathan Marchessault already with 12 to 13 goals. So really hard, just to kind of pick and choose for between all of that, but there's still more hockey left. We're not quite finished from there yet, as we're only in game 3. So it'll be interesting to see all the rest of the way throughout this series. But man, it was a really good startup on that second period. They really have fought hard, and they really have been trying to contain any way that they can to stay up into this hockey matchup. So still into the second intermission as we're getting close to the third and final period here in Game 3 as you are watching the play-by-play live stream reactions of Stanley Cup Final Game 3, Panthers, Golden Knights. Golden Knights up 2-1 against the Panthers, as this is presented by SeatGeek here on Sports Empire Network.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek.
Live from Las Vegas, the Snake Sports Talk Show with Jake Silva starts right now.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Stanley Cup Final, Game 3, back here on the Sports Empire Network, presented by SeatGeek. As Game 3 has been this entertaining thus far, as we are getting ready for the third and final period with the Golden Knights up on top 2-1, and the Florida Panthers. Will they have something to retaliate back on? But the coaching insights altogether between Toronto and Carolina have been 82 penalty minutes, and now it's been 142 for the Panthers, and now the draw wins it on Florida's end, and here we go with Vegas on the power play early. So 1:10 left to go from the power play. It crossed over from the second period. 17 straight postseason wins when leading by 2. And so Jonathan Marchessault has been the story and the talk all throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. And they're the first team since 1980 Islanders with 2 power play goals in 3 consecutive games in a Stanley Cup Final Series. And the 1980 Islanders, who dominated the hockey realm as well in the 80s. What a year, what gold years those have been during that time. And that was the tough years that started, of course, with the great Wayne Gretzky's tough Edmonton Oilers years. And so 20 seconds left to go. Pietrangelo with possession, and now he dumps it back over to Carlson. There's Amadio right over to Carlson again. And time winding down. Pietrangelo trying to find a look. Seconds winding down. Across and a shot. That one bodied up by Bobrovsky, and full strength goes Florida. This one all the way through. Anton Lundell goes to feed it over to Sam Bennett. Up into the Vegas zone. And good aggressive play there. Now here we go once again. This one denied by Aiden Hill, and right back to Ekblad. Another chance to play it, and this time is stopped. Michael Amadio had a real good look from there and tried to get that shot through, but right up off the left arm of Sergei Bobrovsky, and a good job of stopping this one. And he had to fight at least anything that was contested right up in front of him and stay strong up behind the net. So a much better performance by Sergei tonight after Game 2's loss that went 7-2. And this time now, Mark Stone will take it away to lead things for Vegas, and it's back onto their own zone. A little bit of pressure being thrown here from Florida, and no icing there. Here comes Florida now on the offensive zone, blocked up by Nick Haig. And coming around now is Captain Mark Stone. Dumps this into the Florida zone, right up onto the corner, and that pass way away for Sam Bennett and couldn't get it. And now Anton Forsling with the puck, waiting for the team and a new group to come out, and here they go. This one was blocked up. Connor Verhage tried to get possession. Now Matthew Tkachuk coming around. And the shot, that one way off and off to the left and off the boards. So that will stall play here.
You mentioned Matthew. Of course, the sons of the...
So Matthew Tkachuk, of course, the sons of the great Tkachuks who have been around in the league. As you saw there early on, Sidney Crosby and many, many others. Brett Hull, as we've seen. And there's Walt Tkachuk there. Watching his son Matthew playing in the final with his brother Brady Tkachuk. And as you know, Matthew Tkachuk and Mark Stone, both groomsmen in his brother Brady's wedding. And kind of a little bit of an awkward scene, depending on how things go throughout the series all together. Golden Knights 2-1 lead. Nick Wall up and around, getting it onto the offensive zone, and now a shot by Pietrangelo. Tried to wake up Bobrovsky and couldn't get it through. Now Panthers coming away with it, going across the puck, and now possession for Pietrangelo and the Golden Knights. This one right up and across, up and around, and now Eichel around for Marchessault, but it's blocked away. This one, Martinez a shot wide right, and that one missed it. So here are the times, of course. Saturday, Game 4, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern. Game 5 on Tuesday, if necessary. We'll come back to Vegas. And then, of course, Friday, June 16th, we'll head back to Florida, if that's the case. And then, of course, Monday, June 19th, as it ends in Vegas if we get to Game 7. And a face-off draw one. Now Florida trying to get possession and trying to get something going offensively for the Panthers. They had a great, strong second period of play as far as defense and looks, but have not been able to execute on a lot of those plays. 16 minutes winding down here into the play. Marchessault across for Eichel as they will clear it into the zone. Ekblad up and around for Forsling. Now this one stops over toward Riley Smith, and Eichel with a shot. That one bodied up by Bobrovsky. And Lumber chasing it, trying to get an opportunity, but he's crossed up and met by McNabb, and a good defensive stop there by Brady McNabb. Comes Amadio over there and toward the fourth line of the Golden Knights. Gudis with a big hit. Goes across. And this one, trying to get this one around. That was a McNabb. And Amadio met with Gudis. And now puck covered by Bobrovsky there. So real good rotation, but of course real good looks. And still continuing to stay aggressive. 21 shots on goal, over 14 for the Golden Knights. They really have been trying to find those opportunities to bury the puck behind net. And it's been good looks and good steps for them. But Florida trying to stay strong on a 2-1 game. And Sam Bennett winning the draw there for Florida up under the offensive zone. And Stone tried to get a shot, but too much in traffic there. Couldn't get it through. Now Connor Verhage, a little stick war with Shea Theodore and trying to get the puck control. And now Bennett has possession. Goes over to Mark Stahl. And a quick wrist shot, that one coming away. And it's cleared out of the zone. And now around to Brandon Montour. And now it's picked up by Stone. Here comes a 3-on-2, but tucked away as there was a poke check. Now here comes Florida to try to respond. The chuck up and around to Connor Verhage. Verhage up back out. Here's a shot. That one knocked away. That was good control there by Florida, just at the very least get the offensive opportunity. Now this one off the glove of Aiden Hill, and once again they try to get possession on it and get the offense rolling. Now Stone has possession with Carrier. They clear it into the zone, and Florida with 14 left to go in regulation. Now the Golden Knights, they're really trying to take those steps to make it a 3-0 series lead and really force the pressure on to Florida moving forward. Here's Pietrangelo now around and shoved up into the boards. Now here's Martinez, and that one bodied up by Bobrovsky there. So time will stop. 13:38 left to go into the third period as the Stanley Cup final has been strong here in Game 3. 2-1, Golden Knights lead over the Panthers.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here.
So Matthew Tkachuk, he had been shaken up into the first period of play, and it came back into the second period strong and still trying to keep the team afloat. So a little bit of a clarification there on some of the communication that was there on the Vegas end. And the face-off draw, Golden Knights win it, and they're up into the Florida zone. And now a shot right there, and what a stop by Sergei Bobrovsky. And a good wake-up call from there. Almost close to making it 3-1 Vegas. So they've been attacking on all directions and in every way possible just to keep Sergei Bobrovsky up and on his feet. And now a little bit of a slip-up there by Mark Stahl. Trying to knock it down is Barkov. 13 minutes left remaining here in the game. And up to Mark Stahl, right to Michael Amadio. And that one up and around. Sam Reinhart gets knocked up right there by Ivan Barbashev. Now Bennett trying to get it around the net and couldn't do so. And met up by a bunch of Golden Knights up front on the defensive specialists. And now Florida is going to head into the power play as Jack Eichel is hit with a penalty. And we'll find out the call. And a hooking call on Jack Eichel right to Sam Bennett. And right from here, That was right in the stick, right there where the stick on the inside, right on the midsection. And so Jack Eichel hit with that. 2 minutes now on the power play again for Florida. Once more opportunities, but they're still searching for that first power play goal, and it has not come around in this series yet. So a chance to tie it for Florida. They're 0 for 4 tonight, but have been 0 for all throughout this series. So here's Verhaeghe's shot, and it's wide, and Barkov will get it back. Up and around, and Tkachuk tried to get it to wrap through and couldn't do it. Verhaeghe around for Tkachuk. Keeping possession there. Minute 40 left to go into the power play. Now here we go, trying to stall time now for the Golden Knights. On the shorthand, that one away. And that one misses through. Now here comes Verhaeghe. Up to Tkachuk. And now Brandon Montour. And a good job by Golden Knights to really set up their defense. That one knocked away, and they will clear it. So no chances at all for the Panthers to really secure it on the power play. 1 minute and 10 left to go with 11:40 left. Barkov with a 4-1 opportunity. Couldn't get it. Now this one poked away and 1 minute left. So there might be a penalty here. And instead there won't be, so now Forsling over to Sam Bennett. Bennett getting this over to the corner as that's Tkachuk there. Down low to Forsling. Tkachuk and tries to shoot it. That one knocked away on the corner. Aaron Ekblad with control. Now here's a shot for Forsling. That one far away. And Aiden Hill continuing to be just a stone wall behind net. And the shot, that one knocked away. They got a stick right in the middle of it. 25 seconds left to go. And now power play. Up and again, here comes a shot. That one away and gloved up by Aiden Hill.
He's doing a really good job of taking the middle of the ice away. Eventually, it's a long shot. By Bennett, and Aiden Hill.
What's going on, John Haig? Appreciate you coming on by. Yeah, I would feel the same exact way, man. I know. Crazy. But at least we got play-by-play commentary here on YouTube, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. This one won on the face-off by Vegas. 10 seconds left to go, and the power play is just winding down. And now this one passed up and around, and this will potentially kill it. Montour wide left and couldn't get it. So once again, Vegas successful on the penalty kills, already 100% tonight. So no goal at all in the power play unit for the Panthers. That one swiped away and gloved up by Bobrovsky. What a job by Carlson to really try to shake things up and couldn't do it. But this was McNabb right off the skate. A beautiful block from there, but Sam Bennett right from there to get the shot. And Bennett couldn't get it through. But this pass from Eichel to Carlson really quick and a good stop by Bobrovsky, but still they are just getting themselves opportunity after opportunity, and it just has been so successful for Vegas all throughout this game and through this series, but has not been the same narrative for the Panthers all throughout it. So Bobrovsky, a little bit of some maintenance there up on the front of that crease. So it might. They got a little bit of a rut from there, and they're trying to fix it. Line judges get a little bit of water from there, so a little maintenance here for Bobrovsky for now. But as we've said, Saturday, 5 o'clock games all the way down on all four slates. And if Florida wins this, there may be 5 games involved. And Game 5 Tuesday will be back in Vegas on the 13th. But all through this whole entire line, it has been really impressed through all points.
When you get to this time of year,
But usually in the summertime up in June, because things start to really heat up, you start to notice about both temperatures. South Florida, gorgeous time of year, and Vegas, things heating up rather than just the Stanley Cup final itself. It's more just the weather itself that's been looking like that outside. So 2 power play goals that the Golden Knights have had tonight. And Florida seeking that first power play goal in this series. So Eric Stahl.
Dig deep, Brad. Come on, baby.
The active mic.
Let's go get one. Come on, man. Who's got it here? Come on, sway you. Shoot the best he can. Bang one in. Lots of time.
So Eric Stahl trying to keep the positivity for the Panthers as now they finally fixed it up on the ice. So here we go into the center ice, and this one dumped into the Florida zone. 10:15 left to go, down 2-1 Florida here in South Beach, and an icing. So Dalpe skating back over to the Florida zone as we get a face-off after the icing call. And just an amazing postseason for Jonathan Marchessault all throughout this and going into the Stanley Cup final. And so here we go. And a little bit of a shove from Dalpe. 1 goal, an assist, and 1 shot, and that's all it took for Jonathan Marchessault from there. And so now 9:50 left to go into the third period of play. And the Panthers really trying to find some life offensively. Stahl out to Gudas, and now Forsling trying to get a shot there. Couldn't get it. And Reinhardt tried to squeeze into that side and couldn't do it either. And poke check after poke check. And a good force from Jonathan Marchessault as he shoved up a little bit. Anthony Duclair will go to retrieve the puck. Now we got a little bit of a commotion up front as that's Barbashev.
I mean, Gudas engaged with Barbashev, and he didn't have a helmet on.
And Radko Gudas trying to instigate from there and against Ivan Barbashev. Things have really started to heat up, and Jack Eichel, a big-time hit on Colin White, and that's where Radko Gudas went up against Ivan Barbashev. Only about 9:23 left to go into the third and final period as we'll take a break here, presented by SeatGeek here on the Sports Empire Network.
Live from Las Vegas, the Snake Sports Talk Show with Jake Silva starts right now.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
So Ivan Barbashev and Radko Gudas both go into the penalty box, and there were big-time hits from Retko Gudis, and it knocked his helmet off. So we got a 4-on-4 potential now for 2 minutes. So an opportunity for Florida and Vegas, either ends, as they're both short of a man. So Florida on their own zone and moving it down towards center ice. Now 9 minutes left remaining in the third and final period. Barkov over towards White Cloud, along with Riley Smith and Nick Hague, and he squeezes this one out. Here comes Carlson, gets possession, and now White Cloud, the chance to try to shoot it, but he's got too many sticks invading, as that was Stahl there up and around, and Sam Reinhart. Now Carlson up and around the board, trying to find a spot, and gets it towards Alex Pietrangelo, but it goes backwards, and now the group will reload. Now here's the shot, that one wide right, and Stone will get it back. That's Chandler Stevenson on the shot. And now once again, Pietrangelo has to bring it back. And just crossing the playing field right up on the corner to go backwards. 45 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Here goes Stone. Stone with Pietrangelo. That one poked away. Duclair getting this across for Connor Verhaeghe. Now Forsling across, trying to find an open spot. Goes across the side and can't find anybody. Now here's Jack Eichel. 20 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Now Aaron Ekblad, good stop there, goes across off the board. And Connor Verhaeghe tried to grab it but couldn't do so. Shea Theodore now. And a good pass to Eichel. Eichel moving across, tries to make a shot, and in just about a few feet wide right. Now the 4-on-4 is over, and both teams will be fully strengthened. And here's now on that one shot and out of play. So the big point that the Florida Panthers really have done now so far in this possession, they've been being strong, but Ivan Barbashev in that game too has been really fierce with hitting, and of course Keegan Colasar, Jack Eichel, and then just that with Ivan Barbashev, but Radko Gudas and a lot of these players on Florida has just had enough with a lot of this physical play, but this is how Vegas literally plays. They play with intense energy, and we've seen this with past teams in the last few seasons in the Stanley Cup Final. Completely different hits. 15 hits for Vegas, and over 8 of them for Florida. And now a little bit of a cross-up there from looked like Sam Bennett and Nick Hague. Now this one dumped away, and Nick Cousins. And teams that have taken a 3-0 lead have gone on to win 27 of the 28 times in the Stanley Cup Final. So the percentages continue to get higher and higher for the Golden Knights. Now this one picked off away from Keegan Colasar. And whoa, what about Brandon Montour almost doing a whole barrel roll as he just keeps himself up on his skates. Eric Stahl right to Tkachuk. Here come the Panthers now offensively, and a good squeeze out by the Golden Knights. And that'll be up and out of play. 6:15 left to go. And Colasar now speaking up to Tkachuk. And that has not stopped since on this series. Tkachuk been speaking and chirping. And it just, eventually, this is just not going to really end well for the Panthers if that's the case. But what a beautiful defensive play by the Golden Knights. They squeezed up Matthew Tkachuk, pulled the puck out, and was able to get it cleared, but instead it was out of the boards, so and out of play. 6:13 left to go. This one up and around for Bahura, and right to Stahl, and now this one up for the Golden Knights going center ice and into the offensive zone. Amadio there with Carlson. Up on the corner, it's Gudas. Amadio trying to find a spot, and it's intercepted. Here comes Florida now, bringing in 3, and Pietrangelo to retrieve it. Golden Knights with a 2-1 lead. And now a shot there, and that one denied by Hill. Lomborg tried to get something there, but instead took a little bit of that high stick there. Now Forsling way off on the corner and up and around. Smith. Up to 5:20 left remaining. This shot wide right. And now Declare picks it up as Sam Reinhart got knocked down, and a good stop as it hit a Golden Knight player there on the block shot. That one cleared over into the Florida zone, and Ekblad pushing this out. And now the speed on both teams starting to correlate with 5 minutes left to go in the third and final period. In the Vegas zone up under the corner. Stone gaining possession right there for Stevenson. And now it's an icing. 4:45 left to go as both teams have been trading off on speeds and shot opportunities. And so far it's been kind of a quick sped last few minutes already into the third period. But the Florida Panthers do not want to end up going down, especially being down 2-1. Now White Cloud over to Nick Hague, getting it past for Hagee. And Mark Stone, met up by Sam Bennett. 4:30 left to go. And they're going for a change, and now a new unit. And a good interception by Jonathan Marchessault, getting across and a shot. That one denied away. Wow. What a job by Jonathan Marchessault to get his stick involved as he takes the puck away. And Ivan Barbashev had a really good look, but could not sink it in. Golden Knights staying aggressive, and Sergei Bobrovsky, what a job, but it was right there up off the crossbar. What a chance for Barbashev. Couldn't sink it in. Golden Knights still lead 2-1.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code Snake Sports Talk Show, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
So the Vegas Golden Knights and Florida Panthers both getting aggressive on the last few plays they've had now in the third period, as 4 minutes is coming in quick. So, and it was a good takeaway by Jonathan Marchessault earlier, but just missed off that crossbar by Ivan Barbashev to make it 3-1. So 2-1, Vegas Golden Knights. Alexander Barkov up onto the corner as he's met up by a couple Golden Knights there. Now Verhaeghe coming around, getting past Eichel. This one tipped away. Mark Stahl trying to find a zone, and that one's blocked away. Barbashev getting it across to Marchessault. Here comes Eichel with speed. And now Eichel with a shot and tried to sneak it in and couldn't do so, and pushed away by Mark Stahl. So 3.5 left to go. as destiny is soon getting closer for the Golden Knights. Nick Cousins there on that side on the far end boards. And now dumped away by Riley Smith. Forsling coming around on the Florida side. And in come the Panthers, trying to set themselves up for an opportunity and trying to tie this game up as quick as they can. Now this one up and around into the Vegas zone on the corner with Verhaeghe and Aaron Ekblad there. Now an offside penalty.
Ivan Barbashev was having a look at this score.
Yeah, Ivan Barbashev, that scoring opportunity off that crossbar was just so close. And he was looking at that for a bit. And he knew he had the idea and just could not sink it in. And at least the one-timer. But Barbashev, since he's come onto the Golden Knights roster from the trade deadline, has really been the winning force that the Golden Knights knew they needed as far as guys with the experience and just the fuel and juice they needed to get over the top. Ekblad, lone defenseman, getting the pass there, and now Ekblad going to take the charge. Along with Sam Bennett. That one knocked away. And now Sergei Bobrovsky heading over to the bench. And now an empty net. And they get an extra guy in. Barkov, here's Verhaeghe. And a shot, that one knocked away. And a second chance for Bennett, it's blocked away. Ekblad up onto the corner, drives it, and they score! And Florida not out of this yet. And it's Matthew Tkachuk. Second chance opportunities have long awaited for the Florida Panthers, and they've come in that specific, but they may be taking a look at this to make sure this is clean. And yep, that shot right up and across, but you see right from here, Tkachuk. But we'll see as, yeah, it just went right there off the camera. And Tkachuk helping to keep that force alive for the Panthers. And they do just that. So this game is not over just quite yet. 2-2 tie. And 2:13 left to go. Wow. So still 2:13 left to go into this third and final period of regulation. But Matthew Tkachuk staying hot yet again. And here we go in game 3, tied up. And we'll see how Vegas might respond. Now this one up to the stick of Aiden Hill, as he has long been blocking shots all night tonight. This one wrapped around is that Sam Reinhart. That one goes all across through the end boards. Moving this one up high. And Duclair, this one knocked down. And this will be an icing call against the Golden Knights. So Matthew Tkachuk, of course, who was shaken up into the first period of play and was just trying to check to make sure those vitals were good. And then right from there, Tkachuk scoring up yet another goal from here on and keeping the Panthers' hopes alive. He's had 4 game-winning goals in the playoffs so far that have sealed the deal for the Bruins, the Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Here's Alec Martinez. Now up to Barbashev. Stoll going right back up and around. Minute 20 left to go into the third and final period. Now Shea Theodore right back up and around the zone. Now puck is taken away here as Lundell. And what a stop by Hill. Another shot. That one up and deflected away. And a nice job by the Golden Knights to pack it and at least keep the defense there. Now here is Lundell. Puck stolen away. Stick down on the ground. And now he gets his stick back. And here is Ekblad. Up and across, and this one will be dumped into the Vegas zone and given to Shea Theodore. 30 seconds left to go. Almost close to end of regulation. And Carlson up, and this, no icing as it's waved from there. So seconds are winding down. Vegas getting a pass across to Stevenson. And a good move, and now he's tripped up. And that will be a penalty with a tripping call on Chandler Stevenson as you saw him go down. And now Vegas is back on the power play with 11.2 seconds left.
It's the speed of Stevenson again.
And it was on Alexander Barkov, and once again a costly penalty maybe. But Stevenson was able to just get his ability, but tripped up by Barkov, and now he's headed into the box. But it looked like right from here, let's take a look. So Forsling and Barkov, yeah, there's the tripping call right from that skate. So it was right on his own skate. And that, well, maybe that might be an adjustment from there, but Paul Maurice, as you see, that was tough. It was really tough to see. But it was off the skate, but right, yeah, there was the trip up. It was off of Forsling, so it's actually Forsling who's responsible. So that's the signal. So it had nothing to do with Alexander Barkov, but it's not reviewable. So Forsling headed to the box instead of Barkov. But they did get the call right on the tripping. So 11.2 seconds left to go in the third and final period in the Florida zone. Here we go on that draw with seconds left to go. Man, did they really cut it? Oh, that makes me mad now. Why the hell would you cut the feed just like that? That's ridiculous. Don't do that to me right now. That's messed up. Come on, especially when we got 60 people in the chat. That's messed up. All right, so 11.2. Here we go with an opportunity here. Damn it. Stream ended up cutting itself out. Damn this thing. Stop showing me the same damn play, damn it. And cut it out at the worst time. All right, let me see. Yep, so it's the end of the third period. So, overtime coming up for both these teams, but Vegas, of course, on the power play opportunity, so they will see this by the time that we go right into overtime. And as you know, overtime regulations always start up with 20 minutes on it. Three out of here. There we go. Here we go. We got overtime there. Oh, they're already headed to Vegas, Charles. Like, it's going to happen because, unfortunately, the team's really just given up. There's honestly really nothing for them to really show for, unfortunately. So that's just kind of their end right now. And, of course, the ownership just really hasn't been that well for them. And, again, I don't blame them. You know, it's just one of those unfortunate situations for them that they couldn't really get the job done, and they've given up on the team. So it's unfortunate. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. But you know, what can you do? So it is what it is, and it is, you know, just how it's really kind of led on. Well, they don't. There's a few reasons for the stadium because the reason of it is like just the reason of that is because of just who's going to fund it is the question. Because from what they're talking about, they're thinking that, you know, they want Vegas to come out of their own pocket to do so. That's not the way that you really want to do that. But to me personally, all right, we finally got the feedback. About damn time. So the thing about it is that the owner's got $2.2 billion in his pocket. So I'm as a Vegas native, I should not have to come out of pocket to pay for a stadium. That's ridiculous. And to me, that's just Cali monopolizing. Like I'm not falling for that, and I'm not even going to allow that. So to me, my only thing about this is like because they're looking to go into the Tropicana. It's a nice field, you know, concept. I'm not going to lie, but I just think it's kind of ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, it was a light penalty. I mean, ultimately, it was a 2-minute one. So, but it just hit the corner of his skate. That's the only thing. Yeah, hell no. They should never have to. They should never have to pay for at least for that stadium because the thing of it is that county they've already funded. They've already funded for Allegiant Stadium. They funded with T-Mobile Arena. Like they funded a bunch of different. They funded a bunch of different sport. You know. Sports stadiums and so much more for sports to be here. So I think they will. I think they'll be fine with it because honestly, who wouldn't want to come to Vegas, to be honest? I said this several times when it came to baseball is that if Vegas has their professional team, how much would you want to bet that Bryce Harper and Chris Bryant and Joey Gallo and a bunch of these guys want to opt out of their contracts to go to Vegas? I don't blame them. They'll go back to their hometown and they'd give, the fans all the experiences. But the way that I see it is, what people don't realize is this has been a baseball, football town here in Vegas. And the thing about that is that they bring a bunch of teams with a bunch of money into the city of Las Vegas. You like the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Yankees. So it's not like they wouldn't. It's not like they wouldn't progress and they wouldn't thrive behind it. They will, because the more people bring in all the money, the more it ends up going back to casinos and all the rest of it. So that's what they were expecting of it. But so far, overtime now for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. The biggest thing about this is that the Panthers did not end up giving up on one play that Matthew Tkachuk was able to be successful on, and very, very close to the end of that period. So finally some signs of life. Matthew Tkachuk, who was shook up early on in game, and comes back, and he comes back with vengeance. And so Matthew Tkachuk putting the team on his shoulders, and it's been really, really good. The Vegas Aces fan bases is great. I mean, the fact that the Aces have won a championship, and they've been playing really, really good. I mean, come on. They've got Candace Parker. They've got so many stars now. Like, the ladies have really been tearing it up. And Becky Hammond has been back, in the helm. And she's been, the best thing that's ever happened with the Aces. And so it's been really good. The fan bases have been really good. They've loved being there at the arena there. And, the girls are definitely playing their tails off, and they're making it better. And it's only the start of the season. So, but I expect them to get back into the playoffs again, and I'm sure they'll probably be a threatening force once again in the playoffs. But this has been quite the show, at least in the third period of play for the Florida Panthers, and they finally got some life. They finally got at least some help from Matthew Tkachuk, and the rest of the team really staying aggressive as well. And that is what's really been the big factor for them as we get into the game center and taking a look at all the split stats. But as you've seen before, both of them with 2 goals each. 25 shots over 22, 17 hits over 13, 16 penalty minutes over 14 for the Panthers. But 0 for 5 in power plays has been the biggest key factor for the Panthers. They haven't been able to address that. But the Golden Knights have had 6 opportunities, buries at least 2 of them, both of which Mark Stone and Jonathan Marchessault found the great looks. But right from here, Matthew Tkachuk was responsible for that goal to tie things up for the Florida Panthers, and it's insanity. So Connor Verhaeghe and Aaron Ekblad responsible for the assists on him. But the shots on goal, as you've seen, the Vegas Golden Knights have stuck with 6 in both the first and the third period and had 13 in the second period of play. So both, of course, have been trading off shots after shots, but face-off wins have now been back to the Vegas favor as they've been able to really gain possession of the puck, really get the opportunities back on their sides. But 31 blocked shots. This is the biggest thing that has been huge for the Vegas Golden Knights. 31 blocked shots, which means everybody is playing superior defense. They're not giving up on a lot of plays, and they really are contributing to every factor possible. And that is what has been the biggest key factor that the Golden Knights have been playing on. Offense, defense, both playing exceptionally well. And there has been nothing short of what the Golden Knights have been trying to accomplish. Florida's obviously staying alive, and Matthew Tkachuk, he comes off, a short little bit of a soreness, something that may have happened when he got shook up in the first period, comes back in the second period, and a lot better, and then comes up clutch in the third period to tie things up big time. Crazy. It was crazy. So, it was pretty interesting to say the least, but Either way, tied up game right now going into overtime. There's nothing better than that. And of course, overtime regulations, as you know, 20-minute periods. We've seen longer stretch games go, further than this. It's always exciting when we look at overtime hockey, but the Vegas Golden Knights, as we see, getting prepared to come out for overtime. And so are the Florida Panthers. They are really trying to see who will be the winner tonight. Will the Vegas Golden Knights take a commanding 3-0 lead, forcing the pressure on the Panthers at home, or will the Panthers maybe strike their hand and finally get on the board in the series? So a lot of questions left to be answered on it, but both these teams, as we said, have been really good with shots on goals. Of course, the Golden Knights with 3 more shots on goals than the Florida Panthers, but either ones have really been looking for the looks, and that is what has been the biggest key struggle that the Florida Panthers have been having is they've been getting a lot of these looks, but they haven't been able to execute them all at once. So Matthew Tkachuk's his clutch score was what really kind of set the tone, and this is where the Florida Panthers and Paul Maurice really are sitting down together, and they're really trying to keep the team afloat and keep their emotions at bay. Because in the end, overtime hockey, it's exciting and it's so much fun. And as you know, there's a lot of tensions that rise up to it. So they all got to kind of get into that occasion. They all got to really be up on the same pages. So some interesting stuff. And it's definitely going to be quite the overtime, to be honest. I think it's going to be pretty intensified as we see it. But as we start up, overtime going to be coming up next. What's going on, Gary? What's going on, Samuel? Appreciate all you guys coming on in. Leo Santos. Yep, overtime hockey, Key. We are not done yet. We've got 51 people in the chats right now. We appreciate all of you guys for being here. We do you a favor, and please like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Also, share it out with your friends, family, coworkers, etc. Everybody all together for overtime hockey, baby, because the Stanley Cup is one of the biggest trophies and one of the hardest trophies to even win in all of professional sports. What's going on, Benjamin Nelson? Welcome on in, and I appreciate all of you guys for making us part of your night here in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 3 between the Panthers and the Golden Knights. 2-2 tie as we get ready for overtime. And hear a word from SeatGeek.
SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show, with hundreds of events listed, live concerts, sporting events, and so much more. Go on to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code SnakeSportsTalkShow, and save yourself $20 off your first purchase.
So, of course, as we've seen with the time slots and all the slates that are all there, Saturday will be Game 4 between the Golden Knights and the Panthers in Florida. And if push comes to shove, and we've seen everybody here on this Stanley Cup Final festivity all getting excited here in South Florida. But for all of you guys, you don't want to end up missing your seat. Find your seat at the affordable price with SeatGeek, and when you do, when you go to checkout, use promo code SnakeSports. That's $20 off of your first purchase when you head into checkout. So you don't want to end up missing that, and don't lose your seat with SeatGeek. Overtime hockey about to commence. Panthers in overtime are 6-0 this postseason, while the Vegas Golden Knights are 3-1, as of course most of their games haven't really been getting into overtime all that much. So overtime hockey up and ready to go. So a minute left to go. And down into the Vegas zone. Theodore back to retrieve it. And now Eichel with the opportunity. And right past Stevenson, 19:30 left to go. Power play here for Vegas. Here's Theodore and the shot, and that one is away. So a good look there for Vegas. Here's Theodore now on the shot on left. And Eichel now gets it back. Here comes Theodore. Up to Eichel. Minute left to go onto this Vegas power play. It occurred into the third period and carried over. And now this one, a shot there, and that is missed. And now here comes Florida. A potential 2-on-1, but that's knocked away. And time, of course, stalling. Now here comes Vegas. They are rounding about and getting through. Stone right down low, trying to get a shot, and that one poked away. 30 seconds left. Golden Knights with opportunities. Eichel trying to find a spot. Now here's a one-timer ripped up and couldn't find it. And now Mahura ends up getting this one all the way back to the Vegas zone. 15 seconds left. So penalty time winding down, almost close to fully strength for the Florida Panthers. And now time winding down, and that will end things. So here come the Golden Knights up on offense. So Tkachuk gets this one around. He ties things up to send this into overtime. And now Carlson up and around with Riley Smith. And now a big-time pass right to Connor Verhaeghe, and that one's tipped away and into the offensive zone for the Golden Knights. Now Florida back onto their zone. A pass right up across to Connor Verhaeghe. And the puck ends up getting tipped away and right back into Vegas' zone. Nick Hague there with it. Golden Knights coming out of the zone. And now Keegan Colasar. Carrier with it, and now Barkov. Will Carrier up there with Barkov. Now Barkov securing it, and here come the Panthers offense. Into the Vegas zone. Puck tipped away. Heading on back into the Florida zone and right across center ice. Panthers killing off a crucial penalty for the Vegas Golden Knights and starting over again. Now here's a shot wide right. And whistle blows, and that will stop play. Boy, that was a beautiful play. Eichel and Barbashev, who was really trying to connect on it, but just could not sink this in. This was the one that Barbashev had started, and Eichel came around and whipped that shot right off the glove side of Bobrovsky, but a good save. So Eichel's got his skating abilities and all the rest of it working in his favor tonight. Eichel in to draw it. And Florida successful, but Vegas pushes this out. And now a pass right up, tipped up. Up and around the corner, up onto the end boards, and a shot, and Bobrovsky will save it. Looked like Marchessault tried to come up with yet another great shot. What up, Dustin? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. 63 here into the comments, and we're only getting bigger and larger from here, so let's keep it going. Share, 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 and subscribe, please. We greatly appreciate all of you guys for tuning on in. So Sam Bennett coming into the faceoff in the Florida zone again. And Vegas Panthers winning the draw. Puck flipped over, and there Connor Verhaeghe tries to go and retrieve it. And once again, tipped away. So puck going in and out of the zone very quickly. So Matthew Tkachuk, who was the hero for Florida in the clutch overtime, in the clutch third period goal that sent the game into overtime. And we can only see what fate has in store in this overtime. Long minutes, and depending on how far this goes. And bumped up by Radko Gudas, and there's an icing on the Golden Knights.
Well, with the long change here in overtime, meaning that your bench is the farthest away from the defensive zone for Florida, your right wing and your right defense have to be sure when they're making a change. And for Vegas, it's the opposite.
So,
the left winger and the lefty, because you're the farthest away from your defensive zone.
So now face off in the Vegas zone. And Florida winning the draw. But Vegas with control. And here comes Keegan Colasar now. Colasar shoved into the boards, and here comes a back pass, and now knocked away as he tried to make a shot, and he couldn't. He was bumped up. So that was Will Carrier on that shot. Now pumped right up into the right corner. That one's blocked away and retrieved up by Aiden Hill. Team will reload here. Here's White Cloud as he's met up. As Connor Hagee racing in. Brett Howden right up onto the corner. Matthew Tkachuk back onto the ice. Here's Bennett. Across now. Here's a shot. Score! And the Florida Panthers have won it in overtime. So the Panthers now are not shut out and not out of this yet. Make that 7-0 in overtime this postseason. Connor Verhaeghe, who was the hero here tonight, and a big-time shot opportunity and fourth career overtime goal for Carter Verhaeghe. And Florida throwing rats left and right as one broke through to Aiden Hill. And as you saw, a little control from there, but right up on that corner as Tkachuk was getting set up, and Carter Verhaeghe just goes right there, a wrister up onto the corner. And the Panthers win in Game 3. And they do in fact stay alive. Boy, what a big-time shot. And Bobrovsky, of course, very happy with that overtime win. So, of course, now the big-time Florida needed that win, and they get it here tonight. And Carter Verhaeghe with the overtime goal, and a big-time goal from Matthew Tkachuk, of course. With that big goal in the third period that led it to overtime, Florida Panthers were successful here tonight. So in overtime, the Florida Panthers win 3-2. Wow. It was definitely a big moment for the Florida Panthers, indeed, in overtime. And you just could, you couldn't put it into better writing. You know, the fact that the Panthers at least have finally found their groove all together. But yeah, that was tough. That was a tough game for the Golden Knights themselves, and the Panthers finally showed sign of life here in this game, and they're in it. They're back up on in it. So, great win for the Panthers. Great win for Carter Verhaeghe, and of course, it was a much better play, too, from Sergei Bobrovsky, which the last game just kind of seemed like he was out of it. But they came back into it. They were able to maintain control, and that's how the team was able to stick with it together. So 3-2 is the final in overtime as the Florida Panthers are finally on the board. 2-1, Vegas still leads up into the series, and Game 4 will be on Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, of course, in South Florida. And that'll be the one time that they're there in Florida before they head back to Vegas, possibly for Game 5. So lots of takeaways up in the game. The Vegas Golden Knights dropped this tough one, in overtime, and they're 3-2 this postseason when it comes to overtime games. The biggest thing, and we'll take a look at it from the Game Center and what we've seen from the end of it. So obviously the Golden Knights have been playing strong all postseason long. And again, you can't win every single one of them. But all throughout it, 27 shots on goals over 23. Face-off percentages still belong to the Golden Knights with 52-48. Power play goals, two of them sunk in over 6. And Panthers were 0 for 5 in those power plays. Here's the biggest difference, at least for the Florida Panthers, that they finally started to gain under control, is at least in this game, there was 16 penalty minutes, which means that they certainly controlled things. They finally started to kind of control their composure, which is what Paul Maurice has really been talking about, and that was been the biggest game changer. So the Florida Panthers knew that they were coming into a game that they felt a little bit agitated. They felt like there was just a bunch of pressure, and all that pressure was going on for at least two periods. By the time that they got late into the third period, Matthew Tkachuk had to come up in a clutch way and score it for the Florida Panthers, and sure enough, they score it in overtime. Carter Verhaeghe was the hero up into the game, but 16 penalty minutes, better than spending at least 60 or 60 plus, because that is just a complete team killer. But tonight was a different story for the Florida Panthers. So they knew that they needed to get their composure back. They knew that they needed to really regain control and really get themselves back up on track. And this is exactly how they did it. This is exactly how they intended to really go about it and be strong, and they continued to just force a lot of those pressures. So Golden Knights dropped this one. It's no sweat, and the Golden Knights know that they still have an upper hand. They still have the opportunity of still trying to close this series out at some point. But, this was the narrative, that was going in early in this morning, because if the Golden Knights won this game, this series would have honestly had been wrapped. But because those two games, penalty minutes were atrocious for the Florida Panthers, and they certainly have been showing a lot of that physicality, but now they had to change the narrative going into Game 3. They needed to slow down a certain situational plays. They needed to calm themselves down and not get overworked. Otherwise, they would have costed their team penalties. There was only about 2 of those that were costed penalties. So it's better than nothing at this point for them really coming up clutch in this specific area. So it made all the difference in the world. So, big time changes from there. And it was an unbelievable setting in South Florida. But, now it's a series. So we finally got at least a series right up amongst us. So Florida wins overtime 3-2. Golden Knights, they tried the hardest, couldn't come up with it, but it is what it is, and we got ourselves a heck of a series. So it's 2-1 the Vegas Golden Knights lead up into this series as Florida is successful in winning in overtime and winning for the 7th consecutive overtime this postseason, 7-0. What a great game it has been. And the Golden Knights may look into Saturday to potentially increasing their lead, or Florida might try to force their hand and maybe potentially tying it to give it a different narrative. But great game overall. Appreciate all of you guys who had dropped on by. Appreciate all of you guys. LQ Hess probably would have to bet the under, to be honest, because that was just, that was honestly just unexpected. But yeah, definitely betting the under up on this game. What's going on, Randy? Appreciate all of you guys for joining on in. If you haven't done so already, like, follow, and subscribe. We really do appreciate you guys jumping on and making us part of your night for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Play-by-play reactions here. Panthers win 3-2 overtime. Golden Knights looking to try to increase the lead on Saturday, and all those game slates, as we said, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern Standard Time. We've got Saturday, and then we've also got Tuesday that'll be back up in Vegas. So depending on how Game 4 really sets up for the Golden Knights and the Panthers will really determine how the rest of this series goes on. Take care, you guys. Really do appreciate you guys all coming on. Have a great night, and we will see you guys soon.